All right, hello. We are here to play Alien RPG. We're playing session 4 of 4. This is our finale. My name is Jason. I use he, him pronouns. And let's just go around the table. Everybody introduce themselves and their character with their pronouns. And I don't know, just tell us a little bit maybe what's going on with your character as you remember it. Let's start with Will today. Tell us about yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm Will, pronouns he, him. The pronouns of my character, Noah Immelson, are probably more accurately they, it, because he is a machine pretending to be human, but perhaps, more human than most of the people he's hanging around with, certainly more than Brian. Noah keeps trying to save everybody and stop the alien, and last session he was unsuccessful in saving the waif that he had rescued from his former friend turned alien cultist Sitka when a Praetorian alien ripped her off the ship and killed her. But we know with the aid of Plucky Baldy, and even with Bryant's help, they managed to kill that Praetorian. But what next?
Right. Okay. Alan, tell us about yourself and your character.
My name is Alan. I use he, him, and I'm playing Bryant, he, him. It could be said that Bryant is also pretending to be human. He has turned out to be very mercenary. In part, I think his true character has been revealed by the fact that he has lost everyone that he was in any way connected to. His sister some time ago, and his brother-in-law and friend Darius more recently. But he has buddied up with one of our surviving NPCs, Billy. So maybe he's got a new friend in the making. But yeah, he has a lot of the stuff that they were sent to find here, but no one knows he has a lot of the stuff he was sent to find here.
Okay. And Paul.
Hello, I'm Paul, he, him, and the character I am playing today is Tom Baldy Baldwin. Tom grew up on this planet, is an orphan, and back in episode 1 we sort of saw the end of his mother, how she died, getting pulled into a sort of a alien temple, and I think maybe today Tom will end up back in that temple, possibly. We will see.
Okay. All right. Maybe. So we are playing this game with some safety tools. I know that all these guys are familiar with it, but let's remind everyone that we're using the X card. If anything is objectionable, even things that you've already been exposed to, but for some reason today is just not flying with you, just put that X on the screen, and we will rewind and try to dodge that objectionable material. We have lines and veils that we're using, and to remind you guys, we have lines on sexual assault and harm to children, and veils on consensual sex and graphic torture. I think you guys touched a little bit. I just wanted to kind of rehash kind of where we ended last time to kind of put everybody on the same page here. Last session was pretty stark. It was pretty dark. There was a lot of death. There was a lot of manipulation. Not a lot of laughs. As Will mentioned, you guys killed a gigantic Praetorian xenomorph, which was wonderful for you. But unfortunately, there was quite a bit of death involved. One NPC that I had an affection for, the waif, died horribly to acid. And another NPC that had some important information was killed by the Praetorian also. That was Kyoko Nakamura, the head Weyland-Yutani scientist. She had the code that you needed to access and turn off these orbital batteries that are blocking you from leaving this planet. You talked to Billy Ryder, and Billy said, well, maybe the Marine captain knew something about it. And also told, I don't remember if it was all of you or just Brian, but I think there was a conversation where he told you more about what happened 12 years ago when they went back into the gorge.
That was only Bryant.
Okay.
Bryant was very careful to make sure it was only Bryant. Noah and Baldy were busy.
Right. Yeah, Brian has a lot of secret information, so we'll try to keep that all separate in our minds of like who knows what. But so I think what we'll pick up with is Bryant was talking to Ryder and then talking to the detached head of the UPP android Lysenko on his own back in the ship, and the other two, that would be Baldy and Noah, had gone off to explore this Marine camp to see if they could find, something that would help them to unlock this orbital battery. And I think we see you guys looking through this Marine camp, and the Marine camp is all these. Let me take you to that map. It's all of these Marine tents. Clearly, there was a battle here. There's a lot of wreckage, blood spray, and acid and whatnot. And Noah, you have gone into the largest of the tents that clearly says on the outside something like commanding officer, Captain Singh or something. And you've gone in and you're looking around and you see that the tent is in pretty good shape. But there's like a little camp table, and there's a laptop or what they call a PDAT, a personal data pad, sitting on it. And there's like a blood trail that leads from this camp, table out through the door. And you've opened up this PDAT and you see that there's I don't know if there would be like an app or you'd have to like use DOS to type it in, but it's clear that there's like email, and then there's like whatever the operating system for the PDT locator. PDTs are personal data transmitters, I think is what, and usually Marines have these injected subdermally under the skin, so that they can be a locator like this can find them within 5 kilometers or something. I was trying to get to that map. Let me hold on a second.
Yeah, the in the style of Alien Things Everywhere, it is a root menu with email and then the other option, and that's it basically.
Right. So we'll say you just open up the email and you see there's an email chain between this Marine captain and Nakamura, and one of them, is in classic video game style. It says something like, delete this email immediately, but obviously he hasn't. And it says something like, to gain access to the orbital battery, set your own PIN. I have my own security fob that I carry with me at all times. That's the captain saying that to Nakamura.
Nice. So Singh has a security fob that should unlock the missiles.
Right. Mm-hmm. On his body, wherever that might be. And then you open up the PDT thing, and maybe we see you kind of walking out of the cave, because you see that the PDTs all point in the direction of the gorge. And there's about a dozen of these signals popping up all along this gorge, it's not super long, but along this gorge area. And we see, a shot of Noah walking out of the tent and looking that way. And there's that sort of dim, shadowy rock wall in the near distance.
We do know that, I know that Brian did have a conversation with Billy separately, but we do know from that first description that there is a site in the gorge that there is there. So I'm wondering if it's possible to use my motion sensor and the PDTs in the same way that they do in the movie Aliens, where you can see the life signs of the PDTs on the Marines' motion trackers as they're going through the base.
Sure. I think like in Aliens, what she has, Ripley has like a separate little doodad that I think she tapes it onto her gun or whatever.
I was thinking when they did when they raided the atmosphere processor at the start.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I think you can just carry this. If you want to add this PDAT to your equipment list, you can just say you're carrying this, and it gives you a little map that that will kind of point you in the right direction.
That's good, because I gave Baldy the motion sensor anyways, didn't I? So that's
Sure.
a good call. I want to keep hold of the one that points to how to stop the missiles.
Okay. And then just to remind you guys, it's on the map there, portable comm dish. That's the setup. That's where you go to actually control, once you get the pin and you're able to open it up, that's where you would actually control the missile batteries. I think Baldy was looking around too. So I think, Paul, let's have you go ahead and make an observation check. We'll give you an extra die because Noah also, you sort of off screen, was helping you look around. So make an observation check with a 1 modifier. We'll see if you find anything useful. Nothing. You want to push it?
Yeah, let's push that.
All right, so add a stress and re-roll. Same modifier.
One.
Okay. all right.
I'm just thinking, does Baldy get an extra +1 because of his crystal intoxication?
Oh, that's right. That's true. That's right. Baldy and Bryant both are intoxicated with crystal, which gives you an extra observation. Just, Paul, roll just 1d6 or 1 base die. All right. If it came up a 6, then you would have got something, but no, nothing more. You did get 1 success. So if we go to mechanic, finding stuff folder, marine gear, you're going to roll on that table. So roll on your character sheet, on your roll buttons, there's one called D66. Go ahead and roll that. 61. A Geiger counter.
Always handy. As I already have one, I will offer it up to somebody else.
Okay. Noah, you're there. Do you want to add a Geiger counter?
Yeah, Noah's with me, so although I don't think radiation gets him too much.
Yeah, it actually does.
Okay.
Yeah, radiation actually would, if you were on a highly radiated world like this, you would have to heavily shield any sort of electronic equipment.
Then no as it is.
Okay. All right.
I think once I've found that, while I was looking about, if I could find a large sort of plate of metal. Now, I know this was the last sort of home of my mother, yeah?
Right. She that hut that you live in, that's at the base of this plateau, that was hers, Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if I could just get a sheet of metal, something quite thick, I'll take that with me if I can.
Okay, sure. Like a shield size thing, or
Probably about sort of yay big, sort of 2 heads across, 1 head high.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bryant will, of course, be intrigued when he sees Baldy with this kind of sheet. What's the sheet of metal for, Baldy?
I'll pull out my cutting torch and I will say, well, if I'm going to leave this place, I'm going to leave a little plaque to my mother.
Oh, gee whiz.
The last resting place. So, yeah, just in case anybody ever steps foot on this shithole, they at least know what sort of happened down here. So, yeah, that's my intention.
Okay.
And if Noah can join you for that stepping up with the fob, perhaps we'll say, that's a very nice idea, Baldy. Do you think there'd be room on there for one more name? Darius Park?
I'm sure there would be. Yeah. Yeah. You know, clearly my mum is something to me, but Darius must be something to you. So, yeah, if we all get out of this, let's put that guy's name on it. He sounds a stand-up guy.
The best.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll make sure his name goes on there.
Bryant will distinctly be giving Noah the side eye because he didn't think of that. And Noah did.
That is such a Brian move to do, isn't it? Get petty about
that. So we'll put in our chat, kind of like your to-do list, and that sounds about right. And let me put you in time. You guys you're about an hour or two from the end of this shift, and then there will be one more shift of darkness. And as you've learned, the daytime is a time where you're going to be stuck inside somewhere. So I leave it to you what you would like to do. keeping in mind there's a few things that would take some time that you probably could do if you wanted to. One is to get Baldy's ship back in ship shape. You would have to go down and install the MacGuffin piece of equipment that you had found, and that would take a shift, which is 5 to 10 hours. So that would leave you a couple more hours of darkness once you had accomplished that. And that was something that Bryant had convinced Baldy that he needed. He needed Bryant's help to accomplish. In addition, the robotics lab, which on our map is called the research building, there is enough equipment in there to act as sort of a workshop for you, Noah, if you wanted to try to repair yourself. And that would take a shift also. So I'll leave it to you guys how you want to plan out the rest of your evening.
It feels as, I mean, I'm only now coming to the realization that night and day on this planet must be far longer than 24 hours cycle. But yeah, it's plot time, isn't it? Basically,
Right.
I feel like that narratively and everything, this is a point for us to scurry under a rock, fix a ship, have our first kind of like rest of the whole from all of our things, and set off in the night. I keep wanting to say the morning, right? But I mean the night kind of thing, and that provides a nice bit of time for all the other narrative wheels to kind of catch up, like a certain thing on a heavy lander somewhere, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So Noah spends this shift repairing himself, and Bryant will supervise the installation of the flux capacitor.
I wink at Brian and say, "I hear you're. Hey, you need this guy, the best mechanic I ever saw. I promise you."
Bryant won't rise to that bait.
He always likes getting his hands. He must have been killing him. The fact that they're clean, like they should be covered in oil and muck and all kinds of things. Like, he'll blow you away. Hey, Dark Rider, you give me a hand over here. I need some help with something.
Yeah, sure. Can we do it, maybe at the bottom of the plateau? This place is giving me the creeps.
You help me grab some of the stuff from here, and we can bring it down. No worries.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say that happens. He's kind of eyeing. There's like that dead Praetorian laying there with Nakamura's dead body laying next to it, the decapitated head sizzling in the acid. Although that's probably oxidized by now. Okay. So it sounds like everybody's kind of more or less making their way down to Baldy's ship and hut at the bottom of the plateau. We'll have, an opportunity if you guys, like we said, there's quite a bit of time that passes. You probably get a few minutes of shut-eye. You eat and drink something, and you do your work that you're planning to do. Let's get the heavy machinery roll we'll just do once you actually take off. We'll find out how successful it had been. But let me make a note that we have heavy machinery with 1 dive assist from Bryant supervising. That will be Baldy's role.
Now, the other ship we've got, I know it's not space capable.
Right.
It's good for surface work. Are we going to use that at all for the temple run?
I certainly thought that we would load stuff onto it, because there might be quite a bit of equipment that we need to move from the research lab. I assumed we would load it onto the ship that Noah arrived in, and then use that, take it down, and unload stuff. And you're right, it would give us a way to get a look into that gorge without actually having to walk up every foot of it.
Yeah, we can say you kind of do a bit of a flyover, as sounds like you're if I understand you correctly, Alan, you're loading up the gear that like Noah would need, and maybe you guys would need tools and electronic equipment and whatnot onto this transport, flying it down, landing, and then unloading it and doing what you need to do down at the base of the plateau. But yeah, we could certainly say you do a bit of a flyover. I think Noah, we established, has a little bit of piloting skill now, so maybe Noah's at the controls. And it's a big ship, though. I mean, it's a big, bulky thing. But yeah, you could certainly do this. There's whistling wind though, because like Paul said, it's not space worthy because the airlocks have been smashed down by the Praetorians. Yeah.
I mean, we're loading it all up, right? But as we come to take off and do our flyover en route to our taxi ship, obviously Noah, like as Bryant stands by him, like Noah says, "Well, what are you waiting for, pilot?
Okay."
And Noah
Yeah.
means this as a I know how
Yeah.
much you love to fly. Here you go. Brian probably sees it as more of a stab in the back.
He does.
Like,
He absolutely does. Because his piloting is marginally better than his heavy engineering. So yeah, I will take control.
Okay. Luckily, this is a pretty straightforward flight, so I'm not going to make you make a roll for that. But there's a few dicey moments where red lights come on and you punch a button to kind of stabilize things, and you make your way. You do this flyover. First of all, it's clear that in this gorge, there's nowhere to land this ship or even all these much smaller ship, but you certainly see this crack in the in this rock wall where this gorge goes back in there. And there is indeed sort of a clearing, maybe a couple 100 meters back into this gorge. It opens up into a clearing, and towering over this clearing is this rocky outcropping that's shaped, it looks very familiar to like sort of a xenomorph head to you guys. It's been a statue, I guess. It's been been weathered by who knows how many years. It's overlooking this clearing, and you do kind of, I guess we'll make an observation check. We'll say you're all kind of like looking out the windows or at the screens. So whoever has the best observation, make a roll and add 3 extra dice for the other people. Even, Bryant, or not Bryant, but Ryder's looking out the window too, sweating and shaking a little bit.
I've got 6.
Probably got the best. I've got 7, but I think I'd rather have one of the humans do it because they can push.
Okay. And is that adding your extra die for your crystal, Brian?
Oh, that's true. No, it's 7 with the crystal. I'd forgotten about the crystal.
Okay. So roll your observation, and then you're adding 1 for the crystal, and you're adding 3 for the other 3 helping you. So you're adding 4 overall.
Wow. A lot of dice.
Can't go wrong.
Yes, it
Or
can.
Do you want to push?
Oh, yes, I do. Because so I'll add a stress, and I will roll to observe again. Because it's madness. 4 is what I'm adding.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
That's really good. Okay. Well, the reason that you stress a little bit is because of what you see. You see that there is indeed, maybe you're like fly a little close, or I guess you yourself are flying the ship. So you're like, oh, I want to take a closer look. Yeah. So you look over and you see that there's this, it looks like some sort of like equipment that's outside of these big doors that are ajar, that seems to have some sort of inscriptions on them. We can't make that out from above. But you also see the area where it enters this, where the gorge opens up into this clearing. You see that dark substance, that distinctive substance of an xenomorph hive. You have enough experience with xenomorphs to know what that means.
Oh, just so I'm clear, there's a gorge and a clearing and the temple.
Right.
The hive is in the gorge.
Right.
So if we walk in here, we'd have to go through that to get to the clearing, to get to the temple.
Of course you would.
Okay. Now, given the number of successes I asked,
yeah, you can ask some questions.
Can I ask, how do I get in, past, or away? Is there any possibility to land on the top surface above the gorge and go down?
No, it's much too broken. There's no way a ship could land. Even Baldy's little ship wouldn't be able to.
Okay. Next question.
Sure.
Go on, Paul.
Would my rover fit in here?
No, that's too built, too large.
Okay. Next question. how difficult would it be to hover over the clearing and lower someone into it?
That has possibilities.
Okay.
There would probably be a piloting and a mobility role for the people involved. But yeah, that has
I'm
possibilities.
confident I could hold her steady above
Sure,
that clearing
sure,
while
sure.
the others were lowered into the clearing. Yeah, I think that wouldn't be difficult. Um, are there more of them close by? Can I see activity?
No, it's quiet.
But they mostly come out at night.
And it's night.
It's night. And those doors, are they closed or ajar?
They're ajar. They're about half open, it looks like.
Because Bryant is trying to now reconcile what he's seeing with what Billy has described.
Right.
And my recollection is that there are outer doors, and then there was a space where the circlet was, and then there were inner doors, which is where Baldy's mother got kind of taken.
So
Okay.
yeah, you see Ryder's there, and you see some sweat, kind of like going down his side of his head, and he says, "Yep, that's it. That's the temple. That's the outer doors."
Okay.
And inside.
Is there any other question anyone wants me to ask? Because that was a lot of successes.
Not a question so much as a comment that Noah makes as we look over the Xenomorph hive and everything. Sitka was using some sort of tech that. It's a shame that circlet broke. Could be our only way through that hive. Aliens won't. I already saw that the aliens won't attack you if you've got one of those things on.
Now I'm just trying to remember that Bryant doesn't know any of this, but there were those little kind of funny kind of Google glasses, but I can't remember. Had those those aliens had some kind of implant? I thought.
Right.
I don't want to know this, but
No.
I want to make sure Noah remembers some of that stuff.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, Noah remembers, I think that the story that you will have got from Noah, and I would have verified it with Ryder, is that the Weyland-Yutani goggles were kind of like the knockoffs of this circlet technology, and that those implants were like boosters, but that the technology in itself does connect you to other creatures even without the boosters. So it's like otherwise Nakamura wouldn't have been able to use it on the Praetorian, for example.
One question though, and I guess this is an out of game question, because I don't think Bryant knows enough about any of that Noah's told you to ask the question. But I am curious whether the aliens that Weyland-Yutani brought here had those implants, because if there are surviving aliens like that, they could be controlled with the eyepiece, conceivably, leaving Bryant with a last resort around the circlet, because he will want to keep that secret, because it's going to be more difficult for him to explain its sudden appearance than it might otherwise be.
Sure.
I will just to, I think all the conversation we just had was stuff that Noah would have had with everybody, and also he would have pointed out that he knows that there are at least 2 more drones with those pieces in their brains.
Right.
And has Noah shown us, because he pocketed one of those glasses, didn't he, off one of the cultists?
Mm-hmm.
Has he shown us that? Do we know that Noah has that device?
No.
Oh, okay. Secrets within secrets within secrets.
So you guys make your flyover, and you come and you land at the base, and Ryder lets out a real sigh of relief being down here. At least it gives him a sense of some safety, security, and I think, like I said, go ahead and think about if there's any other scenes you want to have in the course of the next shift. But let's have Noah go ahead and make a roll to see how successful you are at repairing yourself. You need to make a Comtech roll. If you get any success at all, then you repair all your damage.
Can I have +1 because I asked Ryder to help me?
Yes.
Yeah. And while
we'll say this gear gives you an extra die too. The
Nice.
stuff.
And while we're working on it, I'd like me casually talking whilst my innards are being stitched back inside of me and welded back shut again. I'd like to, ask Ryder about the circlet, the tech, and then, what he knows about some of those questions, like what effect would it have on aliens without the implants? Would there be many aliens without the implants around here? That kind of broad stuff,
Sure. Okay, go ahead and make the roll, and then we'll cover that. All right. So like I said, all you need is one success to repair all your damage. Take your health rate up to full.
Nice.
The humans, while we're on that topic, if you have taken any damage, you heal also in the course of time. You also relieve all of your stress except for 1 point. I'm going to say 1 point of stress just remains just because, you're on this horrible planet.
I'm pleased it's only one.
Sure. Let me also ask the humans, do you take more crystal? Because the dose that you had taken earlier will wear off.
I'm guessing that if I'm working with Baldy on his ship, he probably has his little kind of
His kettle.
aerator
Yeah.
with him anyway. So I think I don't have much choice.
Sure. Okay. So you guys are going to remain intoxicated. But as we said, it helps with your panic and your stress or your panic results, and it also gives you more observation. So it's all good. So I think Ryder would say, say it again, Will, what you were asking him, just to get me back in the mindset.
The circlet, these things that Weyland Yutani made, does that work on things without those implants, or is it just with the implants?
Okay. He says, look, I don't know a lot about it. Nakamura, they brought me along, but they didn't really tell me much of what they're doing. But as far as I can tell, Weyland Yutani they had used Kara's research to create these goggles, and I think they only worked if the creatures had implants, and they brought those big ones, and they brought some weird egg things, and there was a big cage that I never saw it, but I think there was a really big one in there. And then there was that one that you guys killed. That was some sort of like guard or something, some sort of royal guard or something they called it. And yeah, I had an implant too, but I don't think those goggles that the Weyland Yutani made worked on that thing. But that alien artifact, yeah, I think that worked on that big one, kind of, right?
And you and Kara and the others made use of this circlet before any of these things to control, what was it, robots or?
Right. Yeah, Kara was able to use it to give her ideas about how to control her robots and interface with them. But I think it made her crazy. I think it was doing something to her mind.
Mm. Oh, here. And I pass him one of the crystals. I found this. You want it?
He says, "Oh man, I swore that stuff off when we first came here. I used it, but I think it messes up your mind. It makes you too close to things. It opens your mind to all kinds of influences. No way, man." And he grabs his joint and he takes a big hit off that though.
And Noah reaches over, takes one, breathes it out, and the smoke comes out of like the holes in his neck where the thing came through, right?
Right.
And he says, I miss these things. And I'm done with that scene. Thank you.
That reminded me too. Last time we played, I thought about it later, and I think Paul had referred to you as an android, and you're like, oh yeah, he would know because I have a hole in me. In terms of the game, you don't have to expose yourself as an android to somebody until you get down to 0 health. So if you want narratively just to go with what we did last time, that's okay with me. But if you would rather have yourself being a secret android with Baldy, that's up to you, Will.
I'm okay with Baldy knowing that. I'm okay with everyone knowing that I'm an android at this point. I think I quite like the idea of coming out of that fight and then everyone just knowing that I'm an android and keeping up the pretense and then looking down and seeing this huge hole in my chest and be like, oh yeah, that. Oh well, yeah, that's me. You got me.
I mean, the fact that you now have started to like, repair yourself, laying there on a table, repairing yourself kind of lets it's all pretty clear at this point anyways, right? Okay, so time passes. Anything else anybody wants to do before we jump forward a shift?
I'd like to spend some quality time with Baldy while I supervise his installation of this flux capacitor. And it's an opportunity for me to sound Baldy out on Noah, because I thought I knew Noah, and he's just cold, man. He just killed that Kyoko woman. No, he didn't. No, he threatened her. And then he just blew up the data, and that data could kind of help the core worlds, and I just don't know what his game is.
Yeah, and I think Baldy's going to say, yeah, but you say he's lacking humanity, but he rushed over to save. When he saved us against that Praetorian, he stood and fought. And I'm sort of going to look at you and think,
I didn't.
You're just like my surrogate father. You did a bit of a run there, and he did go to save that young girl who'd got splashed with acid. So
yeah, but but why isn't he keen? He doesn't seem keen to solve the big problem of these things are everywhere now, and if they're just going to kind of rip through the core worlds, the agricultural worlds, then we're all screwed. So I don't know. I still think
quite heavily, because I've never really had any effects of the aggro worlds, and I've only ever lived on this sort of middle of nowhere. So I sort of get your concept, but I don't think it's anything Baldy can really absorb, because he doesn't know what those aggro worlds do really. You can tell him do, and he can see the mathematical logic of them, but it's too big. He's used to like moss and sort of other stuff like that. So
you could always grow some algae.
He can't really see Noah's connection to that whole big. I'm going to look at it more on a very sort of macro scale of, he did fight the one here, and he did go to save that girl. So okay. I think he's an okay bloke, and clearly you and him have done quite a few things together with this Darius bloke as well. So
I'll make it clear that I was there for Darius. I've always been worried about the androids, and I start calling him the android's motives. And maybe then if the agri-world argument doesn't work, I'm going to talk. I'm just going to describe some of the personal experiences, on that small scale that I've had with these things. And, my question, Baldy, is we're going to get off this rock, but where are we going to go that's going to be safe?
And I will ponder that for a bit. I take it clearly your previous stories of Noah are slightly tinted.
Oh, I think that the sense that Noah has, I agree. Noah, has stood up to these things before, as did Darius and I. I guess I've just learned that I don't, he's an android. He can stand up to these things. He can take a hit. People just get torn to shreds. You saw what happened to Kyoko. You saw what happened to the waif. I mean, these things just tear people up. And I don't know. You know what? And this is this is kind of like science fiction. But what if the androids want to get rid of us all, because they can hold their own against these things? You and me, we're just meat to these things.
I'm going to sort of look up, because clearly it is night. So I'm just going to look up the stars and say, there's got to be places that those aliens can't go up there. I'm sure we could find somewhere safe, with or without these aggro worlds. I'm going to try and reassure you that there is somewhere safe we can go.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Once that ship's fixed, that gives us the technological edge on these. And Do we need Noah? I don't know. Hard to say. You're right. He's not human, but we don't know what's out there, and he is pretty tough. I think he's a resource, and I think really, Brian, whether or not you like him or not, if you use him as a resource, in the future, I think he could be quite handy.
I think I'll settle for that, but I will just drop a pebble in the pond about the fact that that there's some rumors that the UPP has got less trouble than we have with these things. Just saying.
Well, that could definitely be worth exploring.
I think I'll settle for that. And I think probably in the scene we see then them fixing it, and while Baldy is busy, doing stuff,
A-team style. Gonna have that montage,
Right.
but in all of those shots, you have Bryant just checking the manual to make sure that this works the way I think it does.
Right.
Which of course is an enormous kind of ring binder in this.
Right. All right. Let's move to. Sounds
I think
like
the only thing I want to do, once I finish the work on the ship, I will quickly, using my laser cutter, cut out this plaque. So clearly, I want my mum's name on there, and then I will put this Darius Park name.
And of course, Bryant will say, "Do you mind if I put Darius on there?"
Yeah, sure. If you know Operator Torch.
I think I probably can. I think I've done the online course for that as well, and so Bryant will feel better that though he didn't think about it, he actually does it.
okay.
And Noah's.
And
no,
Brian
we don't
will-
have a name for them, do we? We don't have a name for the girl, the waif. Do we be on the waif? So
No,
nah,
just the
that's fine.
wave. Yeah. Okay. And Paul, are you carrying that with you, or are you just leaving that here at the
So
hut?
I think this is something to leave here while
Yeah.
it should stand the it's not affected by radiation metal.
No.
It should stand the test of time for a lot longer than the hut.
Right.
And funds in
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah.
I
Other than the
I
it's a very dry
imagine-
place.
Embedding a girder into the ground here, and then riveting it to the girder so it just stands there.
Okay. I like it. Let us move forward then, unless there's any other things. You were talking about Alan about maybe dropping people into the gorge, or is that you want to try that, or you want to just walk through?
I think it's worth a try. Now, obviously, as the best pilot we have, I would have to stay in the ship and just keep it hovering in the right place. So I am offering Noah and Baldy that opportunity. I'm torn between cowardice and wanting to make sure I can collect the data on anything that happens down there. But at the minute, cowardice is winning out.
I think it would cut our numbers too much. It might also alert them. I mean, a ship makes a hell of a lot of noise without just hovering above. It may sort of, like a hornet's nest. It may sort of draw them out, or like these sort of sand creatures. A lot of sort of vibration may draw them out. So I think approaching the vehicle to the gorge entrance, the Land Rover type thing, and then go in sneaky as people with armor and rifles can be. Stock-wise, weapon-wise, what have we got across our team? We got one pulse rifle, have we? And that's it.
One pulse rifle,
one
two
magazine.
handguns.
Yep.
I have a pistol.
I've got a pistol.
A cutting torch.
Cutting torches, yeah. An axe. I think Ryder's got an axe, but Ryder's like, maybe I should stay here. I'll continue to pack up our equipment and our gear. I'm probably not much use going into the gorge, right?
Yeah, agreed.
I'm quite dubious of leaving anybody with the only source to get off planet, and I know he's a bit flighty. So
we've established that Ryder doesn't have the capability of taking the ship up, but we can always lock the controls or something, right? Like,
yeah, Bryant will happily lock the controls.
I'll lock the controls. It's my ship.
it's Baldy's ship, of course. Yeah.
Okay, fine. If you
I-
want-
Okay, so Bryant, just offering.
I agree with Baldy's. I think Noah makes it clear that he's happy to go in alone. The creatures pay less interest in synthetics. He's happy to be the one-man party, but he thinks as soon as anybody else comes with him, it becomes putting others at risk more than it would be otherwise. You know, like Baldy says, the noise, the engines, and also the extraction becomes impossible.
I think that's fine, but humans can actually play quite a viable.
Oh, I'm not. I want the company. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to die alone. I'm just like you. I don't want to die alone either.
No, I'm thinking hopefully we can draw them away in a sort of controlled manner. You know, allow if you want to run in and do whatever it is you want to do, fair enough with that. But yeah, I think me and Brian could act as a bit of a magnet room in a controlled manner.
Listen, I wouldn't go. If it was up to me, I wouldn't go anywhere without Brian. He's a good man in a tight corner.
Yeah, I'll make sure. Me and him stick right together.
And I think that even with this PDT, we're going to need to, many eyes are going to make it easier to find whatever we're looking for.
And just to be clear, what are we looking for here? We're looking for the Marine officer's fob. Yeah. Okay.
And you've gotten several clues that there's something more. Nakamura kept referring to that there's something more back in there in that temple that she was certain would save humanity, that would allow them to control a queen. And as I think I said last time, I mean, surviving, getting off this planet is one thing, but whether or not you guys are interested in that higher ideal of finding something to save humanity, that's up to you.
And in fact, Noah will broach that very topic, and he will say, "Listen, the data, with the data gone, and I just wanted to. We couldn't have Nakamura holding it over our heads. Do you understand? But she had the circlet. Now the circlet's gone. The only thing that's left that Wayland Yutani wants is right in that temple. And I know that's your ticket back to a good life, Brian."
And Brian, you know that talking head in your bag wanted you to get that extra thing.
Oh, I am pretty sure that we're all on the same page of wanting to go to the temple, but not wanting to say it publicly. So I'm just saying it publicly as Noah.
and Bryant will of course be a reluctant agreeer. I think there is that look on Bryant's face when Noah says, and of course the extraction would be difficult, and cut to Bryant, still face.
Okay. So let me see if I got
Bryant had thought about that, really.
Yeah. Let me see if we're on the right page then. So you guys are planning to walk through the gorge to the temple then and find the captain's fob. And you're going to start, on the base side here. And is Baldy's ship and the big ship, the transport, all still down at the base of the plateau then? Are you going to kind of walk from there, to the gorge?
I'll be honest with you. I would like to park Baldy's ship as close to the gorge as we can get it.
Okay. All right.
I was going to use the rover.
Yeah, the rover, you can't drive up this thing. The path is really just a footpath. There's no way to get the rover.
No, I don't want to get to the entrance, but where we'd park the ships at the base, I'd like to leave the ships at where they are now.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, we saw one of them get on board one of the ships and totally nudge the door. So right. I'm really worried that once we leave it up there, it's pretty close. These aliens could easily get on board a ship. I think the rover a better idea.
Can we lift the rover? I don't know. No, I mean,
if we lift the rover, it makes no difference. No. It's Baldy's ship. It's Baldy's rover. I'm happy with Baldy's plan.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So
where they are.
Okay. So I think you guys you leave the ships down, by Baldy's hut at the base of the plateau. You walk up the path. You walk over there. I mean, these are huge distances. It's it's a half hour or so to do this. So the three you guys. Hold on, let me finish. Let me get this out and then jump in. So then you guys were going to leave Ryder down at the hut though with the ships, right? He's like, yeah, I'll keep an eye on everything. So the three of you then are going to walk to the gorge and then go in there and then walk back out. Okay, what you got, Alan?
Just so I'm clear then, so we not only have to run from the gorge, we have to run down the path to the dome to our escape route.
What makes you think you'll have to run?
That's a long way, is what I'm saying.
We have a vehicle.
No, the vehicle can't do the path.
No, nothing can do the path apart from foot. So
which vehicle are we?
There are no vehicles on the top of the plateau other than ships.
I think that where what is now just this second become clear to me is that the ships are parked at the bottom of the plateau, right? We can land one at the top of the plateau and it'll be closer to the entrance to the gorge, which is just next to the plateau, right? But we can't drive the rover up to the top of the plateau to the entrance of the gorge.
That's
right. Probably I think that the way is to park Baldy's ship on top of the plateau. And therefore it's right next to the missile battery, right next to the gorge, right next to everything. We still have to walk on. Does that make sense to everybody? And we can just move on past that point, I guess.
Yeah.
Sadly, the rover's not. I was also thinking that it was a further distance to travel, Paul. But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with that then. I think the only concern with that, and I don't mean to muddy the waters, but the only concern with that is that you have seen that aliens can break into ships, and I think Paul was saying he was concerned that an alien might break into his ship while you guys were in the gorge, but that sounds worth taking a risk, giving it a shot. All right, so let me put a little on the map. Let me just put a little box to show that there's a ship there. We'll make it green. That sounds good. So we'll put the ship right about there. Does that sound good for everybody? And you guys are going to enter the gorge. All right, so let's pick up at that moment. We see the three of you geared up, walking into this gorge. It's about 20 meters wide as you enter in, and it's open to the sky. It's about the sides of the walls rise anywhere from 10 to 20 meters up, almost completely vertical, straight up into this rocky gorge. And you walk in, and of course it starts to narrow. Yeah, it's back and forth. This section there's no xenomorphs, signs of xenomorphs here. Okay, so you enter in. And you go about 20 meters in, and then there's an area where it's covered, and you have to kind of crouch down, and it's just maybe a couple meters wide. So it's like a little bit of a tunnel you have to go through. So we see you go through there, and let me ask you guys, who's going first and who's bringing up the rear?
Bryant will do all he can to insert himself in the middle of the three.
I'll bring up the rear then.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Noah, you're up front.
Just talk about how reluctant the aliens are to attack him. I think he's the best man for the front.
Well, I was actually going to argue that I should be the best man for the back, because the aliens are ambush predators who pick from the back usually.
I think that's why you'd want Bryant there, isn't it, Noah?
Well, you kidding? I love this guy. Like a brother.
I'll take neutral and go middle.
Yeah. That loves Brian at the front then.
Okay. All right. So Brian,
who also knows what he's looking for, because he's been around aliens before, whereas Baldy has not. So
Bryant, Baldy, Noah, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. And has anybody got a motion tracker out? All right. If anybody has one out, go ahead and make a power roll to see if you use up some power. And I know, Noah, you don't have to make a power roll for that, but you have that little PDT, the PDAT, you're kind of like showing you. And yeah, there's signals. There's about a dozen signals, and they're spread out through this gorge on the way that you're going. So you move through this tunnel-y area. It goes maybe 10 meters or so in this covered area, and you come out. It opens up, to the sky above. And this is where the xenomorph hive begins. You see that resin from floor to all the way up these walls. It's not there's like wisp of it crossing over, creating a kind of like a spider web above you. I mean, there's still open sky above you too. And in this, you see the first signal from the Marines PDTs, and you see there's a Marine cocooned into the wall, and there are other people spread about too that weren't showing up on your PDTs. There's clearly like Weyland-Yutani scientists, and there's also some young women that looks like a lot of these people have been injured clearly. And there's also several people that are cocooned like at the bottom, like the floor of the gorge, and they're sort of huddled up in a sort of a fetal position, covered in this resin. And something you've never seen before. It looks like not only some of them are cocooned, but some of them looks like the resin is meshing with their bodies. There's some sort of metamorphosis going on, that they're partially being absorbed and transformed into this. You're familiar with the xenomorph eggs, and it looks almost like one of these xenomorph eggs, like the person is becoming an egg. It's creepy as hell. The humans all gain a point of stress seeing all of this.
And as they gain that point of stress, I whisper, I don't think I've told anyone that it was Sitka Devi at the, I think I've kept it to myself that it was Sitka, the cultist.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Those women, they could feel the bugs. Something to do with that crystal shit and that technology. If only we had one, huh? And I'm wondering if I can, I don't know if it's maybe pushing it to say so, but I think I'd like to manipulate at least Brian into thinking that, oh shit, his ass is on the line here. Maybe every tool that he needs is in his pocket. You know what I mean? If that's a bit too metagamey, because I don't think that no one knows. I think he's definitely pushing to sort of feel people out to see whether or not anyone knows about this technology. He's sort of seeding that idea. Temptation, perhaps one might say.
Okay. What express that in maybe a quick, hard sentence. Like, what is it you want Bryant to believe?
If you had that circlet, wouldn't it be really bloody useful to be able to use it in the middle of this hive?
Okay. So you want Bryant to believe that circlet is worth using. Does that sound right?
Yes. Yeah. That it's to think of it as a tool to save his own skin, not just a tool to whatever. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay. Alan, let me ask you this. Would that be something you would need to be convinced of, or is Brian already leaning in that direction?
No, Brian, it's a question of how far down the list of resorts we get to before we get to last. Okay. That's the judgment I think Brian will make in the moment.
And Will, you don't know that he has a circlet. He made it. He did a whole thing where he snuck it. So as far as you know, I mean, whether you believe anything Brian says, I think is reasonable to question. But he told you that it was destroyed, right? So,
I mean, I think at this point is that Noah's default position is that take the humans at their word, but always suspect them of having, because they're weak. Whether it's Baldy or Bryant, I wouldn't put it past one of them having a piece of this kit that they're trying to smuggle off world without telling the rest of us, even though it could be very useful, not just valuable.
Okay. So let us take a break then as you proceed into the hive. Let's take is 5 minutes good for you guys? Need longer? 5? All right. I'll see you guys in 5.
I'm glad we've got a look, Jason, at the question that has confused alien lovers for a while. This question of, the chicken and the egg,
Right.
the egg morphing.
Ovomorphines, I think what they call it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a obscure thing that only shows up in Alien, the original movie. It has a cutscene where they show
It's the captain, I think, isn't it?
right, the captain, and also Harry Dean Stanton's character. I can't remember his name. I think the captain is still sort of like he's cocooned into the wall. He's just cocooned, but you can see in the same scene you see that Harry Dean Stanton's character is starting to transform. Yeah, I think that's actually this picture I show on your screen is supposedly him. What is his name? I can't remember his character name. Let's see. Can't remember. Dallas is the captain. Harry D. Stanton. Can't remember.
Brett,
yes. Parker is the other guy.
Yeah.
His buddy, Yaphet Kotto. All right, we are back. Okay, so there you guys are, standing, with dread and awe upon your faces. Maybe, Bryant and Baldy, like we said before, the crystal, that stress, that anxiety is there in your body and in your mind, but it's under a turbulent sea. It's like you can rise above it because of that crystal. But you do feel this sort of brooding feeling, a heaviness in your mind, but that is what it is.
I think Bryant will kind of whisper over his shoulder, "Where's the captain? Where's the officer?"
And the little screen shows him farther back in.
One thing I did think about, I just realized I have heavy clothing. If Baldy doesn't have any heavy clothing, he could have heavy clothing and get 1 armor minus 1 agility.
Baldy, you want to put on a parka? What was
I've
that?
got M3 armor.
Oh,
that's right.
Of course you have. Then the only thing I'd like to say is to have taped the flashlight to the top of the pistol.
Okay.
So motion tracker in one hand, pistol
in the other.
and torch in the other.
Okay. Sounds good. So you guys proceed inside then. Let me ask you, do you want to try to get quickly through this, or do you want to go quietly and carefully?
I think based on what we, because Bryant and Noah have experience of these things, and I think quiet is better than quick.
Everybody on board with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether Bryant can hold to that.
Turn quick. When we're not quiet, we go quick.
Well, exactly. Whether Bryant can hold his nerve for that remains to be seen.
Okay. What I would like you guys to do is the person with the lowest mobility is going to make a mobility check. Mobility is your agility plus your ability in mobility.
Mine is 6.
Yeah, mine's much higher than that.
Hey, Baldy, what did you trip on?
You're muted, Paul.
I have 5.
All right. Sound like Baldy, you got the job. So, Paul, make a mobility check. No modifier. All right. You got a panic, but you did get a success. And I'm guessing with the crystal, and you have that skill that gives you -2 on your panic, I don't think we even really need to roll it. I don't think there's any way anything bad's going to happen. Maybe we just see you stressing a little bit. I mean, Noah and Bryant have some experience, obviously, with xenomorphs, quite a bit, actually. But this is all a whole new universe for Baldy. Poor Baldy has been thrown into the deep end here this last day or so. So you guys proceed through this this resin-covered gorge, and you get to a point where it narrows dramatically, where you have to squeeze your way through, and you have to like push some through this resin and this nastiness. What really horrible thing do you have to push your way through, Paul Baldy?
I think you can clearly see some of these entrails that have been sort of like filled with some sort of alien thing to solidify them, but you can definitely work out the sort of, you know, the concertina effect of somebody's sort of like lower intestine.
Right. You guys push your way through. You get, you know, some of this slime and stuff on you, and some of it's dripping down on you. And let me note that you don't see. I think Noah and Bryant would definitely be hyper aware for this. You don't see any signs of face huggers. You don't see signs that any of these people have had chest bursters. You're not even sure if they've been infected. Like I said, you don't see any face huggers. But lots and lots of people cocooned or in this process of being transformed through this weird process.
We have a quick mention of that, in which we also bring Baldy up to speed on the fact that there are little ones that hook onto your face and land. These things come out of people typically. Give him a quick rush on the what to look out for.
I think that sounds pretty horrible. I think, Baldy, you're going to gain another point of stress for that, hearing this story.
Oh, but, you know, it's with my calming presence now.
There was no calming.
The time to tell him this
story
was before we got in here.
Right.
Well,
right.
I thought that's what you were doing when you were talking to him all that time, Brian.
No,
What
I
were
was
you doing if you weren't bringing him up to speed?
Shut up! This is no time to have an argument. And that, I think, is when one of the people soldered into the wall, like that one, says, "Help me."
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask Bryant, what's horrible thing do you come face to face with?
Oh, that.
All right. So yeah, one of these, we'll say it's one of the scientists, one of the whaling. They've got like a whaling tonic jumper on, and they're cocooned into the wall, and they're all pale and clearly in a bad place physically, mentally too. And they open their eyes and they lock eyes on you as you're pushing your way past them. You know, you're like right there, and they whisper, "Help me!" You know, they gasp it out. What do you do, Bryant? And you, I was going to say you get, yeah, gain a point of stress. That's pretty horrible. Gain a point of stress, Bryant. What do you do with this scientist?
Do I need to make a panic roll? That might tell me.
No. I think similarly to what we said with Baldy, like with the crystal and your skill that takes away 2 stress, I don't think there's any way for you to really panic at this point. Maybe your body's panicking, but you're able to keep it together because of the drug.
I mean, the sad reality is that the only weapon I have is a pistol. If I had a knife, then I'd probably drive it into their brain.
You want I did put it in the chat, but I don't feel like that axe is doing much use with Ryder. It was a narrative thing just because I'm carrying around like an 80s action star. Do you want to have the axe as well as the handgun?
You're muted.
Yeah, okay. But I'm going to put flashlight and axe. I will pocket the pistol and then just squeeze the axe into there to try and decapitate them.
Okay. You are trying to kill a defenseless person, so you have to do that. I don't even remember when we did this last time. You have to make an empathy roll and fail it. And you only roll your empathy dice. You don't roll your stress dice. So whatever your empathy is, roll that number of base dice.
Okay, base dice. I have 4 empathy. Who knew that? I succeed. I can't finish him.
No, you can't bring it. You can't bring yourself to do it.
And all I say is, "I'm sorry."
Go ahead.
Noah, you just feel Noah's hand on your shoulder. As you know, you hold, and then he just says like, "It's okay, Brian. You got this. I got this." And then just because none of this is horrifying to Noah, really, particularly,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Nope.
it is, but like not in the same way, right? So instead, what he does is he just reaches over, puts one hand on his mouth and the other one on his nose, and then just says, "It'll all be over soon. I'm sorry."
Right. Okay.
As Brian shakily walks away, I guess.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Probably doesn't. He doesn't even look back. Okay, so let us move forward a little bit. You move through this gorge. You move past these bodies. You know, there's a couple dozen of them probably. Each of the Marines you move past, and you finally get to the point where this Marine captain is, and it's right as the gorge opens up into this clearing. One of the last bodies is this this Captain Singh, and you know, he's cocooned into the wall, and you know, he's got a little pockets and whatnot, you know, that you can probably rifle through, you know, to try to get this fob. And like I said, it opens up into this clearing, and you know, there's that head, that xenomorph mountain looking down on you. There's a little spring to the side. There's water bubbling out. There's no resin in here. For whatever reason, there's no resin in here, but there are these big double doors that, like we said, they're ajar and open. There's all of these work lights that don't come on. The batteries have long since died out, but there's all these work lights sitting around. And I think for narrative purposes, I think we should retcon it. And Ryder must have told one of you guys how to open these doors. So these ones you don't have to worry about because they're already open, and they have these writhing xenomorph figures on these doors. And take it from there. What do you guys do?
Well, I think when we come out into the clearing, I think Brian is going to say to Noah, "I have a bad feeling about this. Look, they're making eggs in there, which tells me there is no queen. This is a good thing. But where are the warriors?"
I don't know, nothing on the census. I'm pretty sure that they had a queen. That these sisters took it from Weyland Yutani, but clearly they don't seem to need it. I wasn't aware of this stage in their life cycle.
But who's making what made this? Okay, something brought those people in here.
And something killed Baldy's mother, but way before any of this ever happened.
Okay. Have we got the fob?
Yeah, one of you guys can rifle into this resin-covered captain's equipment and pull that out.
Unless Noah deliberately stops Brian knowing when they've reached the captain, Brian will play first come, first served.
Oh, Noah, definitely. You know, you're not even aware that we've come up to the captain before Noah stops and goes, "Oh, this is him."
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you pull away some of that, that resin, and you reach in and pull this fob out of his pocket.
Yeah. Noah's trying to help, right? He doesn't want to. He's trying to take him off the planet and everything, right? But he knows Brian, and he knows that he's not the guy that you leave with the keys to the car if you want to lift home.
Right. And Brian and Baldy, that heavy, brooding feeling, that depressed heaviness is intense, more intense here.
You two look really. You okay? Is it just the alien? You feeling okay?
I think that's an interesting question. You are muted, Paul.
It's whatever this place is. No, this place is wrong.
Now, Bryant has never felt anything like this in his previous encounters with the xenomorph, has he?
No.
I'm really worried that this fucking crystal is messing with my head, but that -2 panic and the +1 observation is worth it.
Yeah,
Sure.
I articulate what Billy told me
About the doors?
about the crystal.
Oh, about the crystal. Yeah. He swore off the stuff.
Yeah.
That's good to know at this point in the proceedings. You know
Right.
that the guy who is prepared to take any pharmaceutical swears off the stuff that we've been breathing in. Gee,
Well,
thanks, Noah.
Well, he knows about it. And you, I figured you knew better than to take any random piece of stuff that that goes up your nose. Come on. I thought Darius was the one with a habit.
So there you guys are. You got the fob. You're before the temple. What's next?
Now, Billy told me that when, and I think I have to have this conversation quietly with Noah, actually, if that's possible. I'm certainly going to try and stop Baldy hearing what I have to say, but I do want to make sure that I say to Noah what Billy told me, which was when they opened the second door that he's told us how to do, that's when a thing came and just took Baldy's mother. So, you know, I'm just saying.
Whatever we want, whatever Wayland wants, it's through those doors. I think we should ask the kid. It's where his mother died, after all.
Does he know that?
No. Ryder made it clear. He told you that story, but he said, don't tell the kid. I don't want to hurt him.
Noah's, used to telling humans uncomfortable truths at the moment, such as, the only reason that the aliens are going anywhere is because you keep bloody taking them with you. Stop taking them with you. This whole all goes away. Perhaps as Baldy's like staring up at the double doors, right? I'll come over and I'll say, so we got the fob, but me and Brian got business through those doors, and from what Ryder says, you may do too. This is where it happened, kid.
Yeah. I'm on. Oh, I thought it was muted. Yeah, I definitely. I'm really interested in seeing. She could still be alive. Possible.
Cut to Bryant's face, saying, "Shit, I hope not."
Okay, so let's moments later, let's say you guys have gone into this outer chamber, and there's these inner doors now, and these doors are shut, and there's a statue with these outreaching hands with that circlet around its head. And there's very clear xenomorph inscriptions, statuary spread about in this chamber. You guys are flashing your flashlights around. You see this. And there is the inner doors. And where's those? And Ryder had told you that you had to sort of prostrate yourself before these doors and put your hands on it. And it would cause them to open up. Who wants to do that? I'll tell you one more thing, Baldy. You see lying before these inner doors, you see half of this statue or this carving that all the memories flood back into your mind as a little boy carving this little statue of, I forget, Alan, do you remember what the statue was? I think it was of his mother.
I think that it carved a simple wooden doll was the way I interpreted it.
Right. And you remember making this for your mother when you were a little guy, Paul. And there it is, half of it, broken on this side of these doors.
I'm definitely going to scrabble, quickly pick it up and sort of like rub it in my fingers, and just say, it's all true. This is definitely the spot. We need to get in there.
Right.
I'm just, as we've gone through the outer door, I'm just touching the pocket where my flight officer license is, I'd like to engage my signature item
Okay.
and reduce stress by 1.
That sounds good.
What stress are you on, Baldy? Three. Would you like a nap relief? Reduce all of your stress?
You are muted.
Okay, cool. He said no. So
Oh,
Yeah,
we'll
looks
carry
like he said no. Yeah.
Oh, remind me, never sleep doesn't do anything for stress, does it?
No, it just keeps you awake.
And does a med kit do anything for your stress?
No.
Okay, just checking.
You can take one nap relief in a shift and not have any negative effects. It'll take away all your stress. But if you take an extra one, then it's reduced. I think it affects your agility. I can't remember. But okay. So who wants to bow down before or prostrate themselves before this door and do this thing to open it?
It's a dark space. Flashlights are going all over the place. And what Bryant does is to say, shit, look at that, illuminating the circlet that he just dropped.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
maybe a
Well,
manipulate roll, I think, to,
Yeah,
to convince me of that.
yeah.
I was thinking sleight of hand. There's just
Yeah.
flashlights all over.
Yeah, if anybody wants to call bullshit on that, yeah, let's have you do opposed manipulation rolls. Bryant and Noah. And Baldy, do you want to try to get on this one way or the other?
No,
Or you couldn't care less. You're looking at that statue or that carving.
Okay, I've got 1 success.
We've got
Oh,
one.
we're tied.
All right. So the person
Hey, Brian, could you just-
trying to manipulate can push. So Bryant, you could push if you want, or either one of you could use a story point. As of right now, Bryant's going to fail because you have to have at least 1 success, and Noah's roll is taking away your success. You are muted, Alan.
I think I'm prepared to invest a stress in this
Okay.
and push, which just means
All
I roll again, yeah?
You take one of that, roll 1 less base die, basically. So you can do the roll, but just add the stress, do the roll, but put in -1 because you're
Okay.
putting aside the die that you already got a success on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's -1, isn't it? Okay.
Okay, you got 1 more. So,
You rolled mobility, though, so, I mean...
oh, yep, you rolled the wrong skill. Roll manipulation instead.
It's fine. He can take it. He would have had the same number of dice anyways.
Oh, would it be the
It's fine.
same number of dice?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll let it ride
Yeah,
then. All right, so as of right now, you succeed unless Noah wants to throw a story
No.
point in. Okay.
No, that's fine.
So so you turn and you see, oh yeah, there's one of these circlets lying in the dust of the floor.
I can't believe they didn't find this.
Maybe they did, and one of those things got them before they could use it.
Shit, yeah, that's probably right.
And by the way, I'm really loving the symmetry of, wasn't it Baldy's mother who opened this door the first time?
Right. So yeah, who wants to be the one that prostrates down and puts their hands on this door to make it happen?
I'll
Paul,
do
you
it.
got it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the circlet on.
You want to put it on? Oh, okay. What is it like, Alan, to be linked to a xenomorph mind? What do you think that experience is like?
Oh, I think there's an intense sense of hunger. There's an intense sense of, a visceral drive to protect the hive, to build the hive, to harvest for the hive. It's the ultimate sense of predation.
Right. Now,
Which suits Bryant.
Right. You get that sense. It's sort of muted though. There's a hint of that comes into your consciousness, but you're able to kind of keep your own consciousness separate from it. You used to.
Can I get any, as I move as I look around, does it get stronger or weaker? Do I get any sense of where they are or it is?
I think let's as the mechanism happens, whatever, that twisting of the out of the door and the stone, and you hear this mechanism working. There's a crack sound, a real loud crack, like something breaking, and the door pops open, And then you feel this. It's like a wave of heat, but it's not heat. It's that xenomorph consciousness coming out of this temple.
And I am concentrating to the point of trying to say, calm down. We're not a threat. We're not food. We're not egg material.
Okay. All right. So you're trying to figure out how that works. So you're having this. You guys see him. He's in some sort of. He gets pale, and his eyes roll back, and he has a distant look in his face. And he puts the circlet on.
I guess just wait to give him a moment to see if he's okay nervously before Baldy opens the door.
Okay. So you kind of come out of it partially, but that heavy feeling is there, this alien consciousness for Alan, and the door opens up, and Baldy, you see the other half of that carving on the inside part of it, right? You guys proceed inside. There's an inner chamber now, and there's tunnels leading off from it. And Alan, you feel a strong desire to go that way. The largest tunnel, that's the way you want to go.
Yeah, and I think that I does Baldy open the doors? I'm standing behind Baldy. Noah is in Overwatch, I guess.
Right.
And so I say to Baldy, take the bigger tunnel. Take the bigger tunnel, Baldy.
Okay. Sounds reasonable. Let's all start going that way.
Okay. You enter into these tunnels, you have your flashlights flashing around, and there's all of these carvings, statuary and carvings throughout these tunnels, these high black stone tunnels. And it's a mixture of sort of H.R. Giger sort of monstrosities, space vampires, death metal, album cover kind of stuff. It's all pretty heavy duty. Humans gain a point of stress going through this inner temple area. How's your stress doing, Brian?
I'm on 4.
All right. And you move along through here, and after 10-15 minutes, it opens up into a huge chamber. Let me get to. There is a map for this. Here we go. So you guys, here's the ravine and the clearing, and then the outer chamber. And this is abstracted to some extent. Like I said, it is a confused maze of tunnels that you've moved through, but Bryant's sense always unerringly sends you towards this huge chamber that you enter.
The only thing I would say is that as we've moved through the inner chamber and beyond, Bryant is kind of expecting to find the skeletal remains or parts of Baldy's mother.
Right. But you don't see that. You don't see.
I didn't think we would.
Right. And there's as you enter this huge chamber, which I'll describe in a moment, there is a brief cutscene where we see something huge and dark and black move through those inner doors that you left open, and it moves out of the temple, out into the gorge. But back to where you're at. So you've entered this huge chamber, and there is, Paul, can you go ahead and mute? I think I were getting reflected sound back to me. Okay, yeah, that's better. Let me see if it's better. Check. It sounds better. Anyways, you enter this huge chamber, and let me get a picture here. Here we go. You come out, it's super high, super wide, and there's all along the ground, there's a field of xenomorph eggs. And there's greenish light that sort of like floor lights, like greenish floor lights that illuminate the ground. And there's this bluish mist that like hovers over all of this field of eggs. And so they're covered by this bluish mist. And there's a path. There's sort of a raised, it's maybe 2 meters above this field of xenomorph eggs. There's this raised path that allows you to progress to the middle of the chamber. Let me go back to the map. And this too has these green floor lights. So there's this raised platform, and then there's a pathway, that white path that leads out to sort of a raised dais. I can never think how to say that. Is it dais? Anyways, and there's some statuary on the dais, and then yeah, and then there's darkness beyond.
I'll follow Baldy.
Okay.
I'm going to grab the back of Baldy, and I'm going to look at the dais and the eggs and everything. And I'm just going to say to them both, if these are all eggs like we know, then each one of them's filled with a facehugger that's going to go straight for someone, for a host. Now, I ain't a host, and from what we've seen, I don't smell like one either. If it's okay with you guys, maybe it's best I go to the dais, and you two stay over here.
There's no way you'd be able to tell my mother was in one of those eggs. I mean, they're a lot smaller than a person. So, yeah, I'm just saying, if you see any remains that you think could be her at that dais, let us know. Bring them back.
Noah, again, you know, the opposite of Brian's skittish, whatever, right? Reaffirming, like, squeeze of the shoulder, and, like, I understand how much that means to you, kid.
I think Bryant is prepared to let Noah do the heavy lifting.
Bryant, make a manipulation roll.
Okay. Any bonus? Any?
No, straight up. And I got to make a roll too.
I've got 1 success.
All right. One moment. Wow. All right. You feel that you should go out there, but you're able to resist it.
Okay.
All right. So it sounds like Noah, everybody was on board with Noah progressing down this raised passageway, this raised causeway towards this dais. The other two stand there, and so you move along, Noah, and you get out to this open dais, and at each corner there's like statues that are clearly, again, this sort of like death metal, space vampire, Giger sort of mix of images. This one looks a little bit like this. Looks a lot like an alien queen. And there's a pedestal here, and there is, or let's say it's another statue. It's another statue this one doesn't have outstretched hands, but it has on its head, it has this sort of ornate headdress looking artifact, this dull gray metal artifact on its statue's head.
And it looks very similar to the other stuff, right?
It looks similar to the circle. It's much more ornate and complicated, but it's of the same sort of strange alien metal.
You know, the conflict between what you, the player, want to do, what you think the story wants to do, and what your secret agenda might want you to do, right?
Yeah.
Which one do you choose to go for? I take the headdress.
Okay. Yeah, you just lift it off, and it's just any regular action for an android, doesn't have any effect on you, of course, and yeah, you grab it.
And I guess I rotate. I see that it's similar to the circlet that I have already held
You've
and stuff
seen
before, right?
Yeah.
Because I tried to break the circlet, right? So I had a chance to at least like see any similarities. in the thing.
Right.
And I look over at the others, and then I make my way back over, I suppose, holding the headdress.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to do so. So, Bryant, you see him walking up with this headdress. I'd like you to make another manipulation roll.
No modifier.
No modifier, yeah.
2 successes.
All right, let's see. Ooh. Bryant, you are going to need to you can push too.
Can I save you? Can I save you the
You're
trouble?
gonna need. Yeah.
Because what I will say is, because this is quite a big thing, isn't it?
Right.
He's going to need 2 hands to hold that assault rifle.
You
So I would suggest that he lets Baldy carry it.
carry the assault rifle
No,
or
the headdress.
well, let me tell you this. You must have that. As of right now, as the dice lie, you must have that headdress. It is yours. It is you are compelled to you must get it no matter what.
Okay.
Let me tell you, you're going against. I got 4 successes, so you're going to need 2 more successes, whether through pushing or through story points to resist this influence.
Then I think I can square this because free of all of this metagamey stuff, Noah's response when he came back over with it was to nod to Brian and say, listen, if the circlet works, then this must work better. Here. And I'll swap with him, basically. I'll take the circlet. He takes the headdress.
Okay.
My precious. Am I prepared to give up the circlet?
Yeah.
There's no sense in which these 2 things kind of work together.
This is what you really wanted. The circlet is a toy. This is the real prize.
That I will put it on.
When you so when you touch it, green light illuminates the far end of this huge cavern, and this green light illuminates an alien queen that is caged, or it sort of has bands around, heavy metal bands around its arm, all of its arms, and it's sort of like it's covered in dust, and it's not moving, but this green light illuminates it, and this mist sort of is like radiating from the ceiling down across it. And you feel, Bryant, when you put this headdress on, you feel its consciousness awakening, and it wants you to bring them to me, release me, bring them to me, we must have more children. Now you can resist this if you want at this point.
I think I'm going to try to resist it and say that there are more children outside.
Right. All right. We're going to make another manipulation roll.
Oh, yeah. Just the one.
All right. Let me see what I get. I was rolling secretly, but now the cat's out of the bag. I'll go ahead and roll openly. 14 dice.
Push, Alan, push.
All right, she got 3. So you need 2 more successes to resist. You can push. You can use story points. You can mix and match.
Just remind me, if I push and I get a handful of facehuggers, the normal panic rules apply. Okay,
that's right.
Well, I'm going.
But remember, you have the -2 for your talent. You have -2 for the.
That's what I'm
for
thinking.
the crystal. Yeah.
Okay, I will push. I've added 1 stress dice.
Okay, so you're going to roll, but take away 1 base die.
Oh, and
you already got 1 success.
I keep wanting to hit mobility
or just roll a -1.
-1. Okay. I think my tendency to roll on mobility. Paul, I think I'm getting your feedback now. That my urge to roll on mobility is because I really feel I should be running quickly somewhere now.
All right, so
four more successes.
go ahead and roll the panic. I'm not. I think you hypothetically could get a panic result here. So you got an 8, but you're subtracting -4, so you're okay actually. So there's a great turmoil in your mind and body, but again, you're rising above it, and also this energizing power of this headdress is making you super focused. But you got a ton of successes there, so you are able to resist this. You have a piece of Brian is in your head saying, this, I don't know about this. It wants you to, and you have the power. You feel that you could, with your mind, release this queen, and it wants you to release it. It wants you to bring it all of the life forms.
And Brian will squeeze out through clenched teeth. We need to get the fuck out of here quickly.
Maybe you should take that off.
No.
Okay. What do you guys do? Skedaddle?
I'll ask Noah if he did see anything about my mum.
I would have looked. I'm sure I didn't.
No.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
she must be long gone. Whatever hell's gone on in here. Fine. At least I can finally say, that's it. She's dead.
Right. I think Brian and Paul, I think you guys gain another point of stress. This whole experience in the egg chamber, I think, is extra creepy and scary.
Bobby,
Okay.
do you want to nap and leave now?
I will take the nap leave.
Yeah, I
Okay.
gave it to you earlier as a, for your nerves. Like, you've got it.
That removes it all, doesn't it?
That's right. Take your stress right down to 0.
I know that mechanically speaking, it makes more sense to be Brian, but like, I desperately want to see those panics happening.
Sure.
And I have to say that at the moment, Bryant would routinely have sought to convince Baldy to give it to him, but I think Bryant has his hands full.
Okay, so unless there's a different plan, it sounds like you guys are going to take Brian's lead and get F out of here. So you stumble your way. I mean, Brian, you keep wanting to be pulled back, but you're able to resist it, and you make your way back through this dark tunnels.
I'll even say, don't let me turn around. Just keep me moving to the outside.
Right. You got your gun on him? Yeah. So yeah, you make your way back. We'll say we'll pick up, you're back at those doorways now, leading back into the clearing and then into the gorge. Keep going, or anybody have anything at that point?
Motion sensors on, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Make a power roll for those, yeah.
I don't think Bryant is doing anything but trying to keep Bryant conscious.
Mm-hmm. And as you move to sort of, where that not the dead captain, but the cocoon captain is, as entering into the gorge area, you do get a signal. There's a signal ahead. It doesn't tell you what, you can tell it's about, it's about 30 meters ahead, we'll say.
The cocooned Marine captain didn't happen to have any grenades on his belt or anything, did he?
Yeah, let's do an observation check. Go ahead and make an observation check, and let's see if he had anything. Nope, he had nothing.
Oh, you know what? I will spend a story point to have that.
Okay, this is just. You know what? Since you're spending a story point, sure, take a grenade.
Cool. From what I remember, grenades are good against many things.
Yeah.
You just need to watch for the acid splash. But I think as Noah is doing that, tearing some of this stuff away, we will see Bryant looking back towards the doors,
Right.
And maybe taking a step in that direction.
Right. Paul, Baldy, you see him sort of stumbling back. What do you do?
I think I'll grab him and carry on pushing him because he did ask us to sort of not let him. I've got that stun baton actually. Give him a quick jolt of that now. Not yet. But I will keep him in front of me.
Okay.
Not that I want him as a human shield in any way, shape, or form, but you know, he did ask me, and he is the only other human here. So yeah.
And Brian, the consciousness, the queen's consciousness has faded somewhat, and it's been replaced. There's something else ahead. It's different. It's simpler. It's not as intelligent. You can tell that much. And it's instead of that sort of manipulative sort of hunger, it's rage and hate and destroy is what you're feeling from this presence that's ahead.
I think that I will try to encourage it to believe that it can meet those needs by continuing down the gorge away from us.
Okay.
I'd rather encounter it in the open if we have to encounter it.
Sure. You feel like you're quickly getting acclimated to this experience of this headdress. You might be able to have some influence on this creature, but you would have to get closer. You'd have to be able probably to see it and be in its presence.
Fine. Well, you know, that's my intention, to make
Sure.
it believe that we are small potatoes and that it can satisfy its desires out there.
Right. Okay. So you guys progressed inside, and it sounds like you kind of flipped around your marching order. It sounds like Noah, and then Brian, and then Baldy's kind of prodding him with the stun baton to keep him moving. And with that, let us take another break, and then we will come back and we will finish our story. All right. Let's take 5 if that's okay, and I'll see you then.
I
Could have
need
been
to find I need to find a more appropriate background now. Just bear with.
Okay. How does it feel to be a xenomorph high priest, Bryant?
I mean, you know, a less likely protector of the human race. It's difficult to imagine.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we'll kind of like a short montage of you guys moving through this hive. You move through that narrows area where you have to squeeze through. You know, you dodge these eggs or these ovomorphs, and you move into where it opens up to some extent, you know, maybe about 5 meters across, and it's open to the sky. And you see about 30 meters ahead is that area where it was like created sort of a tunnel where you would pass through. And I think all along you're checking out your motion tracker, and you see that creature is here, and you don't see it, but then there's a shadow. And then, you know, 10, 15 meters above, you know, where the crack opens up to the sky, you can see something huge and black with long, slithery tentacles is clambering high above you. And I think, you know, with, you know, Bryant's headdress and with the motion tracker, I think I'll go ahead and give you an opportunity here to do something. It sounds like Bryant was already primed to try to like manipulate this thing to go away. Does anybody else want to do something before we roll that?
I'm ready to shoot it if it doesn't, I suppose.
Yeah,
Sure.
ready my pistol.
Okay. All right. Oh, that looks good, Alan. Okay, so Bryant, I need you to make a manipulation roll to try to get this thing to go for better prey somewhere else. I'll tell you already, I rolled it. I got 3 successes. That's what you're aiming to beat.
Okay. Oh, 1 success and a panic.
All right, and when you panic, you can't push.
I know.
Yeah.
So-
Roll the panic. Let's see what we get on that.
Oh no!
Still all right. As long as it's 6 or less, you're okay.
Oh wow!
Just barely. Okay, so you reach out to try to control this thing, and it lets out this. It's not a roar. It lets out a rumble. It is a rumbling from this huge thing above you. And one of these, and you feel, Bryant, that this thing is, it's too different. It's too enraged. It's too primal for you to be able to control. And in fact, you only sort of rattled the hornet's nest, and it wants you especially. So we're going to enter initiative. I think what we'll do is, you guys were already on Overwatch. So we'll let you, as these tentacles start to descend down, these long tentacles descend down to try to get at you guys, especially Bryant, you guys can each take a shot at it. And it's sort of, again, you know, in case it's not clear, it's this huge shape. It's above, it's probably 10, 15 meters above you, but these tentacles are reaching down, and it's sort of blotting out the sky. It's so huge.
This is the thing from the opening, right? As opposed to the another alien queen.
Ooh, yes.
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 Well, I think Baldy should get his shots off first with a pistol, because what Noah's doing is chunk the grenade launcher on the round to fire it up into the top of the gorge and try and blow that thing off.
Okay. So Paul, go ahead and make a roll. We'll say it's at short range, so there's no modifier for that. The lighting, you got flashlights, so the lighting's not a factor. I don't think there's any modifier. Go ahead.
Can I use Field Commander to say, I can't stop this thing, blow the fucker to bits?
Not at this point. You were trying to control it, so this is sort of like that failed, and now you go to guns. All right, so Baldy, you got 2 successes. You can push if you want.
I think two's good enough
to start. Okay. All right, so that's going to do 2 damage, or you can do you do 1 damage, and then you can do a stunt with the other success. If you look under range combat stunts, you can either do 1 more point of damage, or you can do one of those other things.
I think it's not got anything to drop.
No. You probably can either try to like stun it or knock it back a little bit.
There's one there that your opponent falls to the ground.
Right.
So would that cause that to become dislodged? It says,
No,
for example,
I don't think you could dislodge the whole thing with a pistol. I think maybe you would knock one of its tentacles away. I think in mechanical terms, I would say you have three choices. You could either do more damage, you could stun it, take away its slow action, or you could knock it back, or knock back some tentacles and take away its fast action.
It attacks on a slow action, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take away its slow action. Push it back.
Okay.
Drive it away.
So you do a point of damage and you stun it or pin it or whatever. Let me roll its armor. It has a fair bit of armor. All right, so you don't do any damage. It just bounces off this thick, black, smooth hide of this thing. Noah, you were going to shoot the grenade launcher. So that is also a range combat. I think aiming up and over like that, we're going to call that medium range. So we'll give you a -1 for the range.
Okay.
Lighting, I think, is okay. So I think you're rolling range combat. Roll the, let's see.
Would I roll the pulse rifle for the bonus? Because it's
one
I'm
check.
firing it like I would do this.
Hold on 1 minute. What's the bonus on a pulse rifle? Is it 1?
Just one, yeah.
Yeah, the grenade launcher is the same. So yeah, go just push the pulse rifle attack, put in a -1 when it asks for modifiers. All right, 1 success. So that means it lands, right near it, explodes. It does 2 damage just from hitting it, and then it does 9 blast. So roll 9 base dice, and each hit will do another point of damage.
Could you roll it for me? Or roll 20 is just frozen up.
Okay, sure. Base dice 9. 2 more. So you're doing 4 damage to this thing from your grenade. You didn't get any stunts, so you're just doing damage. And it's thick hide. Does it block all of it? All but 1. So it does take a point of damage. Right.
Jesus.
Right. All right. So that's sort of you guys were an Overwatch. So that was sort of like free action, so to speak. So then I think we'll end your initiative. And similar to what we did before, I think what we'll do is we'll say, because Bryant and Noah both have that fast reflexes, if I remember correctly. So we'll have you guys go first. Then we'll have the creature go once. And then we'll have Baldy go. And then we'll have the creature go its second action. It gets 2 actions. So Bryant and Noah. So Bryant, if you wanted to do your commands, this would be the point if you wanted to do that.
Yeah. So I'll roll command.
Who are you trying to give a command to, and what does it sound like, or what is it telling you to do?
I think this is probably to Noah, and it is it will follow. I can't control this one. You just need to blow the fucker to bits.
Okay. I actually did have a little battle map I spun up earlier. Let me put us there. Go ahead and roll command. No modifier.
That is 1 success and 2 panic. So I better roll panic, hadn't I?
Yeah.
9 minus 4 is 5.
You're okay. All right. You guys all see the battle map?
Yeah.
Did I put you there? Okay. So there you are. Each of these green lines represents a zone boundary. So a few zones away is this cave opening, and then this thing's up above you. The rider's not there. Okay.
So that's what I'm doing with my fast action. And with my...
You can do another fast action or a slow action then.
And a fast action would be run like shit, wouldn't it?
Sure. If you want to move into another zone.
I do.
You want to move forward to here?
Yeah.
I think Can you guys Can you move your tokens?
I can move mine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So I moved you forward one. There you are. Noah. Did you get any successes on? You got one success on your command. So, was it to Noah that you were talking, or Baldy?
It was to Noah, because Noah
Okay.
has the biggest gun.
Okay.
I'm going to swap places with Baldy and tell him to run.
Okay. You basically want to like defend him, more or less, is what you're doing.
I mean, ultimately, what I'm doing is, can I swap our initiative like we have been doing?
Swap initiatives. Oh, I see.
Baldy
Sure.
can go first, and I will go second. And I'm telling Baldy to get out, but not as a command, just as a verbal,
Okay. Sure. All right. Yeah. Sure. So Baldy, go ahead. It's your turn. You get a slow action and a fast action.
I'm going to move towards. For some reason, I can't actually control. I can control Noah, but I can't actually control myself.
Yeah, I probably didn't put it in. I didn't anticipate Darius dying. Let me change it. Here we go. Controlled by all players. All right, try it now. Can you move it?
Yep.
There you go. So that's one fast action. You can move again, or you can do something else.
I'm going to try and do the same thing as I did last time. Hold it at bay. Stop
Shoot
it
your
sort of
pistol?
attacking. So yeah, I'll shoot it again.
Okay, go ahead. So it should be a pistol button. There you go. Nothing. You can push.
Yeah, I'm going to push.
Add a stress.
That's better.
All right, so you do a little bit of damage. 1 point. Let's see if it gets through the armor. You don't get a stunt, though, so unfortunately you won't be able to stun it or anything. Let's see. Where's that character sheet? This is called a Xenomorph Sand Beast.
I was curious whether it was related to the thing we'd encountered in the sands.
Yeah. Yeah, it blocked that point of that pistol shot. It's not likely going to get through, but that's a good shot. So then it is the creature's turn. You did pin it. You took away its slow action, so it only has a fast action. It really doesn't have anything to do with a fast action, so I think we'll skip it and we'll go to Noah.
Move and
Noah?
shoot. Move and shoot.
Yeah. Shoot and move, I think. I shoot from over here.
Okay.
I don't know if that changes any of the difficulty or anything.
You shoot from where you're standing.
Yeah.
No, it's basically all over. The tentacles are. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm going to expand it a little bit. It's huge. Yeah, so just make a short range shot. I think it's just hit your pulse rifle button. No modifier.
3.
All right. So you do 2 damage, and then you got 2 stunts.
I pin it down to take away its slow action.
Okay.
Again, I've worked out this is the only way you can really kill an alien is by all of you doing this.
Right.
And I guess with a pulse rifle, would it still probably feels too big to knock it back or down with just bullets? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just do an extra point of damage then, I think.
If it was like grabbing somebody or something, maybe that would be useful. But right now, no. So extra point of damage. Okay, so you're looking at 3 damage. Let's see how the armor. Oh, it's half armor because it's armor piercing. It didn't block any of it. All right, so it takes 3 damage.
Okay. And I actually forgot to use my command bonus then as well. So
Go ahead and roll 1 extra die then.
okay. How do I do that? Sorry.
If you click on base dice, put in 1
I see.
under roll buttons. Nothing. Okay,
Yeah,
nothing.
and so I still have a fast action. I fire again with my -2. My
Quick fire.
my quick fire, yeah. And I'll take. Yeah, I'll do that. So that'd be -2 on the modifiers.
Yep.
1 success.
All right, so 2 more damage then. So we see the little readout on the side of the pulse rifle. That number's going down of the number of bullets you got left. It's not empty, but
I imagine like a little red light starts flashing on the like the back of the readout, right? You're like, it's like and then
right. All right, you did do another point of damage, so you've done some damage to it. Now you hit it up in its body and these tentacles, and some acid starts to rain down on the guys that have moved forward. It's spread out quite a bit, so it's not going to be the full amount that usually would happen if it was right up on you, but it is a huge creature, and this acid is pouring down. Let's see if it hits anybody. So let me see. You're doing 10 plus 2. We'll say 12. We'll half it. Base dice 6. So this is going to be for Baldy and Bryant. 1 damage. So you're going to take a point of acid damage. Your armor does apply, so make an armor check for each of you. Bryant and Baldy hit your armor. Bryant takes a point of damage then. Baldy, your armor blocks it. It does reduce your armor by 1 as it eats through. Your M3 armor is starting to get eaten away. It already was damaged by your previous fight. Bryant, you take a point of damage. When you take damage, you also gain a stress. And I'm hoping we can see us get over the top and get past that crystal, get past your skill, and actually get some panic results.
Yeah, I just to check. Does that mean that I reduce my armor by 1 as well?
No, it got past your armor. Your armor, it didn't hit your armor, it hit your skin.
Okay.
You also may end up taking more damage shortly, which actually is coming up now. The creature, again, it can't actually attack because Noah, knocked it back or whatever. Maybe it's big. It's this huge black head comes down and that mouth is inside, but he's like, and he knocks it back enough so that it's not able to attack somebody. But we do roll again to see if the acid continues to burn you, Bryant. I'm going to roll 3 dice now. It does not. It burns out. Okay. We're back to the top of the round. So Bryant and then Bryant and Baldy can go in either order, whichever you prefer.
Well, Bryant is running.
Okay.
Can I run twice?
Yeah, you can use each fast action to go 1 zone.
Then I move 1 zone and a 2nd zone.
All right, so you're
I
just
wouldn't want
about
to suggest
to
that I'm wasting a command, but that cave entrance is just too enticing.
Right. You're just about there. Okay, Paul, Baldy, what do you want to do?
I want to do move and shoot.
Okay.
Move 1 and
Okay, 1 success. You may push if you wish.
yeah, I'm going to push.
Add a stress.
So now I want to roll.
Add a stress. You're going to roll. Just add a stress and then same roll, but put a -1 on your modifier.
Okay.
That should do it.
So
Okay.
2 successes.
All right, and you haven't got any panic, so you're not out of ammo. Your pistol, your 16 shots or whatever you have in this pistol, you're really making them count. So you got 2 successes, so you do damage on 1, and then you can do a stun on the 2nd.
Push it back.
Okay, that
Yeah,
Okay.
remove slow action.
probably the pinning one, right? The one that takes me to
It's
slow action.
so it can't
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah, that's a winner. All right, so you're doing 1 damage. Let me see if it blocks that. It certainly does. It does not break through its skin. Then it is the creature's turn. Again, it is knocked back by the shots. Noah.
The creature doesn't move on its turn?
No, I mean, it's basically everywhere. It can reach anywhere on our map, basically. It's so huge.
I suppose my real question was, is it still going after Bryant?
It probably is, yeah. It's trying to.
Because there's it's huge and it's all over the walls, right? But there's definitely like a center of attention somewhere, right? And it's still going up.
That big. It's moving. It's moving. Its head is moving along as Bryant runs. It's trying to get at him, but you guys keep kind of peppering it and knocking it back enough so he can squeeze his way through.
I think Noah just
double run.
Yeah, double run. I think it makes most sense. Even though I feel like I'm leaving behind the chance to do more damage to it, I don't think we're going to kill it. So I double run.
Okay, and it goes. It actually gets a chance to attack this time. It is going to attack Bryant. Bryant, do you want to roll the d6 or shall I?
I'll happily roll the d6.
All right, you want to roll low. 4. All right, let's see what that is. Noah set you up here. Okay, one of these tentacles tries to reach and grab you as you're just about to get to that tunnel mouth. It tries to reach out and entwine you with one of its tentacles. I roll 12 base dice.
Only 12.
Only 12. 2 hits. So that means it doesn't do any damage, but you are considered grappled. So it wraps around you. You can't do anything except to try to break free on your turn or have someone help break you free. You and any characters in the same zone must make a panic roll. So it's just you. Make a panic check for us, Bryant. 9 minus 4, you're good. So your body and mind are freaking out knowing that death is approaching, but
I'm flashing back to the fact that a thing like this, but not as dangerous. Just I couldn't break Darius free.
And it has you, and it twists you around, and you see that massive head. It's probably 5 meters long, 3 meters wide, and that big mouth is opening. But it's like it's actually kind of similar to Prometheus or Covenant, I think, with the neomorphs. I think they're called. It's more stretchy rather than sort of bony and rigid like the xenomorphs are. It sort of stretches open, and it has that stretch that mouth inside, getting ready to do something bad to you. All right. That takes us to the top of the round with Bryant and Baldy can go in either order.
Brian might want to shoot himself free, so I'll let Brian go first.
Okay.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about did I try to hit the one? Did I try to take an axe or something to the one that
yeah, you have an axe probably in your arms or attached to your belt or something. But right now you can't attack. All you can do is try to break.
I see. Oh, right. So I can't use a tool to break free. No. I just have to break free. Okay, well, I will try to break free.
I will tell you that Baldy, you can assist during someone's turn, even if it's out of order. So Baldy could move forward and try to help break you free, give you an extra die on this if you want to, Paul, or you can just let him do it on his own.
Well, knowing that, can I swap with Baldy and invite Baldy to go first?
Sure.
I was looking at the stunt. There's one there that says causes the creature to drop something.
Right.
So would that apply?
If you shoot it or hit it? Yeah, that would apply. That would definitely, if you got that stunt, yeah, you could get it to drop, Bryant.
Okay, so I'm going to do the same again. Move and shoot.
Okay. Righty. Just take a shot. Same straight up roll. You did get a success, but you got that panic, so you can't push. So you didn't get a second success.
Will a story point add 1?
That's what I was going to say. Yep, you can spend a story point, add 1, have it drop Bryant. Is that the plan?
Yep. So I've added 1 stress. Dupe the face hugger.
Right. No, when you get a face hugger, you don't add stress. You have to roll panic, but you don't add stress.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll roll panic. Although I think with -4, I don't think it will get anywhere, will it?
Yeah, that's not going to get. Nothing's going to happen.
No.
All right. So let me roll its armor first. See if you do any damage. In this case, you maybe don't want to do damage. Oh, but you do. All right. So your pistol shot, breaks through the skin. It lets out that rumbly roar above you. That head that's been coming down rumbles, and it drops Bryant. But this acid pours out, and let's see if it hits Bryant. All right. This is going to be the full acid. So we're rolling 11 dice. Only one. All right, Bryant, roll your armor. Your 1 armor. All right, you're going to take 1 damage.
Relieved I took tough as my last improvement.
Oh yeah, that gives you more hit points. And you gain a point of stress when you take damage, so give yourself a point of stress.
Just out of curiosity, what happens when the stress track is full?
It just keeps going. I mean, it only goes to 10, but you can have more than 10. What are you at now? Like 9 or
I'm at
something?
8.
Okay, you're getting there. All right, so I think that's it. So you have been Baldy runs forward, shoots it at almost point blank range. You get burned by acid, but you are free, and it is your turn.
Has Noah been?
You swap places
no,
with Baldy,
me-
so it's still you.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So I'm free. So I could move twice,
Sure.
You could shoot it and move.
or I could move twice. So I will move twice into
Okay.
the tunnel and out the other
All
side of it.
Okay, very good. So I think you are safely into the tunnel. It's not going to be able to reach you where you're at. Okay.
I am slightly worried it's just going to go over the top and come down the other side. But so
Right.
that's why I'm not hanging about.
Now it is the creature's turn. It's frustrated that it's
Have to
lost
push
its
it back,
target.
move. Push it back, move.
Well,
Coward.
Baldy, I think it's right there, and you've hit it. I think you're the target here. Do you want to roll a d6 for its attack, or shall I?
No, I can roll a d6.
All right.
3.
3. All right. One of the other tentacles that comes down behind you and goes to it widens itself and just goes to use its massive weight to just smash you. I rolled 10 base dice. I got 2 successes. All right, you're going to take 3 damage. You do get to roll your armor. Which I think is what, 3 armor at this point? All right, you got nothing for that. So you're going to take 3 damage, Baldy.
Okay.
And you take a stress when you take damage. So add a stress.
Yeah.
All right, you are knocked prone and you are stunned, which means you can't use, you're knocked down, and it means you lose your next slow action.
Okay. Moving's fast, though, isn't it?
Yes. But standing up is a fast action and crawling is a slow action. So you're basically not going to be able to move on your next action. So let me make a note. Baldy is prone and stunned. Okay. That's the creature. Noah.
Noah is going to shoot at the creature.
Actually, let me put this out there because we haven't seen this in play. I'd be curious to see it if Noah wants to do it. Noah, you have a talent called Bodyguard. Is it only in short range?
It is only at short range.
Okay.
That is part of my overall plan on bad dice rolls. We have seen it before I used it in the last adventure to protect people.
So, yeah, it wouldn't apply here anyways because you're not in the same zone. So,
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you move first to get into the same zone?
Oh shit! I missed.
I was thinking about that last attack. Oh, you're shooting your gun again? Okay. So you just flat out miss it. I think unless you want to do a story point, it's just a miss.
Yeah. So I guess I fire again with my rapid fire, which is probably the last of the clip.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Same roll minus
2. Sweet. Yeah. I choose the pin down, obviously.
Okay. All right. So what's that look like? You miss once, then you hit it enough to knock it back.
I think that tentacle is like in the air, and I fire hitting the tentacle, but it doesn't slow it down at all. and it slams into Baldy. And then like I raise the gun, look down, and there's like 5 bullets remaining. And then I just like, as it comes back up to crash back down on Baldy, I switch fire and shoot towards the eyes, and it whips that tentacle back to cover its face with it instead. And the gun reads did it.
It blocks 1 of the damage. So I think I rolled too many dice, so I don't know. Let me redo that. Armor, cancel base dice.
It is armor piercing as well.
Yeah, I rolled the wrong number of dice. Okay, I've been rolling all these secret. Oh, no, don't need to be secret. It got 3 successes. So it blocks all the damage, but you do knock that head back. I'm gonna say it's not right up on Baldy, but I'm gonna say that there's enough hits and spray that I'm gonna do half the normal acid. So, although it didn't take any damage, so never mind. You didn't actually damage it. You just knocked it back. Okay. And your clip is empty, and it is now the creature's turn. But like we said, you stunned it, so we're at the top of the round. Bryant and Baldy.
Bryant is running for the ship.
Okay. Bryant is skedaddling out of there.
Over the hills and far away.
Baldy.
I'm going to crawl.
Well, you can't crawl because a crawl is a slow action, and that's
it's a new round. That's reset.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. The actions reset at the beginning of the round. You're absolutely right. So, although it does say you lose your next slow action because of the stun.
I'll stand up.
Okay, sounds fair. All right, so you stand up. It's the creature's turn. I think it's angered by Noah now. It's going to reach some tentacles and try to hit you, Noah. Go ahead and roll a d6, see what it does. Or do you want me to roll it?
It's lost its slow action.
Yeah, but that was what you shot. That was its second action last round.
Oh yeah, because
this is the next round. Yeah,
son of a bitch.
Yeah. Oh
fuck! I'm dead.
All right, so that mouth, knock it back, and it spins and looks at you, and it comes at you full force.
Is there any way for me to spend a story point to re-roll it?
Change that? No.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, I'm gonna roll 11 dice. Three hits. All right, so that's gonna do 4 damage.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a human, you would be dead, but instead you just take. Actually, that doesn't take you to 0, doesn't it? So
No.
it just takes a big bite out of your head. Maybe that half of your head that was destroyed before gets destroyed again.
Does armor not apply?
Yes, it does. Go ahead.
Yeah, 2 points of damage.
It starts with 2, and then I got 2 more, so you're taking 3 damage. Is what you're taking.
3 damage. Perfect. Yeah. No, I'm not dead. I am severely injured. I think it is one of the tentacles, like you say, whips through and rips out that broken eye again, and then the arm goes down and just tears a big chunk of like the shoulder off. My arm's still attached, but like there's a big bit missing between, and dumps me back down on the ground.
Okay. And it is your turn.
Double move.
Yeah, I run.
Okay. You're into the tunnel. Go ahead and move yourself in there. Then the creature again. I've only got 1 target available. Baldy, go ahead and roll a d6. 3. That's where it tries to slam you again. So one of these big tentacles comes to crush you. This is 10 dice. Two is you're going to take 3 damage, which probably breaks. Go ahead and roll your armor. Maybe that'll save you here. Nothing. So you take 3 damage, which probably takes you to 0, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Story point?
No, it wouldn't help here. You know, yeah, story point. All it would do is reduce the damage, maybe. But how much health?
That's fine. 0.
Yeah. Add a stress from taking damage. You are knocked prone and stunned again. You roll on the critical hit chart. So under mechanics, there is a chart called critical injuries. You roll a D66 to see what you get. You want to roll low here. Tell me what you get. I'm looking for 63.
Disemboweled, instant death.
All right. So it basically rips, it smashes him and rips his guts out, and he dies. Baldy dies. Paul is the 2-time winner. The other two, that is the end of the combat. It maybe some tentacles try to reach into this tunnel, but it's not able to get at you, Noah. Bryant's nowhere to be seen. Let's drop out of combat. Paul, for our last few minutes, you can be Billy Ryder. So I'll go ahead and give you permission to see him. Bryant, tell me what you've done. You've gotten a head start. What do we see for Bryant here?
Oh, just running flat out for the ship.
Okay, so we see you come out of the gorge. There's Baldy's ship. Ryder's got it warmed up, ready to go. And Noah is, a minute behind, maybe.
Yeah, and I'm going to say to Billy, Noah's gone insane. We need to get off this rock.
I ain't going nowhere without the kid. You said you'd keep the kid safe. Where is he?
The kid's dead.
You don't know that.
Noah killed him. Noah
You don't
killed him.
know that the kid's dead, though, do you?
No, but I'm
No,
just,
no.
I'm using
He's
any
lying.
leverage at
You're just going to
all.
lie and say the kid's dead.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
well,
going to say
clearly
Noah
that's
killed the
an
kid.
attempt at manipulation.
I told you that the androids, they're going to take us all out.
I ain't going nowhere without the kid.
But I've got to try manipulation, haven't I?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's going to be, this is very important to Ryder in the situation. I'm going to have Bryant, you roll at -2. Roll manipulation at -2. If you already rolled, just re-roll.
I know, that is my -2. This is
Okay.
a panic dice.
All right, roll your panic. And Paul, if you can see Ryder, roll his.
Oh, no!
All right. So it's actually moot because if you get a 10 or above, it automatically fails. So 10 is free. So instead of saying all that, Bryant, you freeze. What does that look like?
It's just, my brain, my head, my brain. I can't think. I gotta get away.
And Ryder, you see he has this alien headdress on his face, on his eye. It creates this goggle effect on his eyes. It's weird for sure. And he's acting weird.
Yeah, I'm going to think that's what's causing him to go a bit gaga. As he is going gaga in front of me. I'm going to try and sort of rip it off his head.
Okay. Bryant, do you resist that or let him do it?
I think if I'm frozen, I don't think it's fair I should even try.
Okay. So
I think I'm probably in a fetal position on the ground.
Right. Yeah, if you weren't, you would have been after the shock of ripping this thing off your head. It's kind of a sense of relief, but it's also a sense of shock. Brian, go ahead and reduce your stress by 1, being released from the headdress. Noah, you come out of the caves, out of the gorge at this time and see this scene.
I run up to them and I'm yelling, "Get it off his head! Get it off his head! It's then,
Fucking head. He said you've gone fucking nuts so that you killed the kid.
Listen, there's like one of those sand beasts. Is in one of those is like a sand beast has got hugged or something. I don't know, but Bryant's fucked. Listen, give me the headdress. I'm gonna go get the ship ready. I'm gonna go turn off the fobs, and we're gonna get the hell off this rock, okay? You know what?
He's a pilot.
Oh shit, you are the pilot, aren't you? Fuck. I swear and say, okay, I can fly. I'm gonna go turn the. I need to go turn it off. You get the ship ready, and I'll be right back. Okay.
What the fuck should we do with him? He killed the fucking kid.
It was that thing that killed the kid. He's just not well. He's just not well.
He's clearly not fucking well in the head.
Listen,
Ryder,
take his gun. We got to get out.
I'll grab his pistol and I'll take his axe off him and I'll cover him.
Okay. All right, Ryder, gain a point of stress hearing that the kid's dead.
Sure. I don't think I'm going to have too much of a stress problem.
No, I think he starts with a little bit, but yeah.
He started with 2, yeah. 3. Can I chuck in some nap relief?
To Bryant, sure. Yeah, you got a whole satchel full of all kinds of
I got 2 of them, so I'll chuck one of them at him and say, fucking take that and calm down, fucker.
Okay. Brian, you swallow a pill. It clears all your stress. Yep.
But I'm going to assume I'm still slightly out of it with that frozen outcome, or not.
Yeah, I think the events of the last few hours have shocked you severely.
I mean, Ryder is searching Brian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like including that bag that he's been carrying with him. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I think that would be fair. What do you think, Paul? Do you think you reach into this satchel that he has?
Well, I think more.
Or you just took his weapons away?
I think while he's fitting, or just sort of like, it rolls out of the satchel.
All right.
And this Russian Putin copy head is looking at me.
Right. Skinless, plasticky looking android head. Yeah. Noah, you've already made your way. We're gonna have Noah. Noah, you've left. You're on your way to do the orbital battery. But yeah, this head in the head says, Bryant, get that headdress. Get the headdress back. That's what we need.
And Bryant, of course, is still kind of the headdress. Where's the headdress? Where's the headdress?
So and Noah, you took it, right? Or did you? Who had the headdress?
I took it off his head. I removed it.
If you would have. I would have tried to take it from you if you would have given it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it means anything to me.
Yeah, I definitely have it.
Yeah, it's just more creepiness to Ryder. Okay, so yeah, the head's like, it opens its mouth. Paul, you see it say to Bryant, it looks at Bryant with like one good eye, one mechanical eye, and it says, go get it. Don't let the android take
fucking Russian shit. And I'll bring a double-handed axe. Probably the blunt side of the axe, actually. That's probably a lot more effective down on this rusky head.
Okay. So, Bryant, what's your reaction to all this? You swallow this pill. It started to sink in. The stress is fading away, and you see Ryder start beating on your Russian friend.
I think that the joy of the Soviet Socialist Republic is drifting away. So I don't think I'm going to grow old in New Moscow. So no, I will just accept the loss. I think the headdress is still on the table, but the UPP is gone.
Right. And I will say, I don't think you had copied the data onto a fob, but we'll say that's still in your satchel. I don't think that would have came out.
Yeah.
All right, Noah. There's nothing obstructing you. You make your way to the orbital battery if that's what you're doing. Take it from there. What do you think Noah's up to?
Noah is going to take the fob out. Disable the missile battery, and then I think while there's like a sort of like connecting thing, he sets that headdress down and then fires up the cutting torch.
Okay. Starts. I think you ended up with. Did you end up with the circlet also?
Oh yes, I'm doing both of them in the same.
Okay, so yeah, you're going to create some molten slag, and the cutting torch is hot enough to actually start to destroy these things. Yeah, that happens. I don't think there's anything to stop that.
I think that Bryant has one more play.
Okay.
And that is to say to Billy, do you want to make a lot of money? because Wayland offered me a shitload of money to get a certain bit of data back, and I hold up the.
I was
memory.
quite interested until on just making a lot of money, but I think as soon as you said Wayland, I'm going to be really switched off at that, because he's done me over. Wayland has quite a few times, and in fact, it probably is
Wayland's done everybody over, but
it's
now
Wayland's fault that I've
got the
spent
key.
years on this shithole.
we
So
we've
no,
got the key. The keys to the kingdom, Billy.
I was interested, but not for that fucker. You know, fuck me. And I'll point to the Rusky.
Okay.
And I'll
Okay.
say, I'd prefer to jump into bed with him than I would Wayland.
Okay. Then we sell it to them. They'll give us a shitload of money just to stop Wayland getting it.
Yeah, I'll entertain that fact. Yeah, let's get this missile battery deactivated. I want to get off this shithole once and for all.
And at this point, I think we're on the bridge looking out and seeing, because the fact he's got the cutting torch fired up, I know that the bigger prize is gone. But this is the data.
I mean,
that
you
he
can't see that.
destroyed. Oh, I just thought in the night we would see this.
Oh,
bright
of
light.
course, it's a nighttime. I'm sorry. I keep imagining it as daytime. Sorry.
I was
Yeah.
that if we took off without him, he will just turn the missile batteries back on. So he's sort of got his own guarantee built in there, Brian. I don't think
Okay. All I need to know is that you and I, because you're my buddy, Billy, you and I are in this together, and we don't mention this data, okay?
I think you sold the buddy thing when you fucked the kid over.
I didn't fuck the kid over.
You didn't help him, did you?
I couldn't help it.
You said you would look after him. You didn't look after him, did you? No, you didn't look after him. You definitely didn't. So let's cut the shit. You didn't look after him.
Okay. I need to jam this into the vessel's communications.
I'll take the fob and
No.
So it's always about you. It's always about you.
Yeah. Then he took my pistol, isn't he? I can't even shoot the bastard.
No, I've got an axe and a fucking pistol.
I'm going to try and
Tell you what,
send.
I think you need to sit down in that crash seat opposite me, and if I need to put this duct tape over that stinking rat hole of a mouth, I will do.
And
But
that's when I attack him.
Okay. I'm going to say you're on Overwatch, Paul. Do you want to shoot him as he comes at you?
Yeah. I think he's going to get a bit of a pistol point blank range.
Okay. I'm going to do just an express version of this. I think, Paul, let me ask you this. Are you going to shoot to kill him, or, if you succeed, are you going to try to
be honest,
incapacitate or kill him? What do you think your goal would be?
the only thing I've got on my character sheet is the axe. So let's forget the pistol. Let's axe him.
You want to axe him? Okay.
I will try and hit him with the flat end of the axe or the side of the axe.
I'm basically just going to break this down to one roll. So I'm just going to say, if you succeed, you're going to do what you want to do. And like I said, do you want to incapacitate him, injure him, kill him? What do you think Ryder would do?
Incapacitate, knock him out.
Okay.
Because his dirty, filthy poop hole mouth.
Okay. So make a go ahead and click that axe button, the attack button on the axe, and let's see what happens. All right.
Lots
good.
of success.
Yeah, make the panic roll, though. The panic could be something here. Could be a factor.
So you want me to roll, put another stress on?
No. Hit the panic button, because you got to. You don't add stress when you get a. There you go. Okay, you're fine. So it stresses you out to do it, but yeah, you hit him, you knock him out. Noah, did you have anything else to do, or do you come back to the ship to the scene of Brian? It's probably got a big, he's probably duct tape to the seat at this point. Yeah, knocked out.
I see the head of the synthetic, right?
Yeah, it's all smashed up. Yeah.
I nudge it with my toe and I go, UPP model.
Some rusty piece of shit. Now, can you fly this thing?
I can.
Then get us the fuck out of here. Man, come. I
Did he
want
have-
a full rundown on what happened to the kid. And believe you me, if you're involved, I ain't going to be happy.
And I pass Billy the wooden doll that like I think that wooden doll like skittered down the cave door like corridor as a thingy, and Noah's picked it up and put it in his pocket, and he's going to hand Billy the wooden doll and say, "I'm sorry about the kid."
Fucking poor consolation prize, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
something though. It's something.
Yeah. Did he have anything else?
The kid?
No. I'm asking
Oh,
any
you're talking, I see.
other, basically I'm asking about that fob in a metagame way, the data.
What
I do know
happened
he's
here?
got the data.
Oh, I showed it to you. I said, look, it's all on
Yeah,
here.
you showed it to me. Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't like Wayland Yutani, and yeah, there was the option to sell it to the Ruskies. But yeah, well, how much do you tell me? What do you tell me about the kid? That's what I want to know.
About the kid, I say the thing caught
I
us
want
in the.
piece by piece. What the fuck happened?
I described the creature to you in a way that
Yeah.
makes it clear to you that it's what killed his mother.
Okay.
And I say that we were running up. He went back for Brian. He got him free, but then it just got him. He told me to run. I was out of bullets. When I went back for him, it was too late.
And what did this piece of shit? What was he doing?
Oh, he was running.
Fucking Weasley said he'd look after the kid.
How do you think I got here so quickly?
I'll get that data stick, and I'll say he was trying to get me to sell this to Wayland Yutari.
And I take it and I say,
Whoa! What's on it?
okay. Oh, it's a way for them to control these things. It's not the whole thing, but all they've ever wanted is to control these things. That's the whole reason anyone, anywhere, all of this has started. That's the whole reason it's all over the colonies. It's all because they want to control these things. The more they think they can, the more they'll keep trying.
If we open sourced this, would it be useful to others? As in, would it give a level playing field while improving our chances against the aliens?
It's a trap.
Okay.
If
you say it's a trap, I'll believe you. That's fine. Yeah, I just want to know that if it could be distributed for free to everyone, would it improve humanity's chances? If you say no, I will believe it.
Yeah, because I think that's the way humanity would use it. It's a Cold War. They would do it as like weapons of mass equally mutual destruction. But that doesn't matter because it's got their weapons are their WMDs with their own mind, and they would all slip their collars everywhere.
Get this thing in the air now.
Yeah, and I snap the fob and throw the things out the doors, probably in front of Brian, right? Like,
well, I was going to say, I would like at this point, the focus shifts to see Bryant straight to the seat, looking, and there's just that kind of.
Oh, did I lose somebody?
You disgusted him so much, Alan.
Sorry, Will.
Jason showed me backstage for
sorry.
the moment. Then, is it possible for Noah to have disabled the missile thing and grabbed the comms dish as well?
I think you just need to send the signal. No.
Well, yes, but ultimately, what I want to do is, as we leave, I want to turn that missile battery back on.
Yeah, I will say that you probably, I don't know, maybe you memorize the code, so you're able to send a signal from Baldy ship on the way out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because basically, I want to do everything I can to deny this planet to everybody else. I mean,
I think we could probably, for dramatic purposes, say that you not only that, but you can send the missiles to blow up everything. The mesa, the plateau, the gorge, the temple. You just let loose.
Oh yeah, and I let Billy hit the button on that one. I say, you were here first. You should make it last.
Thanks. I think if I was the kid, I definitely wouldn't target the Mesa because I made that thing. But
Yeah,
I think,
we don't target the Mesa. Yeah.
no, I'm more than happy because you know.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah, but
So yeah, no, let's press the button. You know, and all the time I'm going to be staring at that weasel. You know, I think I might even like weasel above his where we've got him tied in. Yeah, no, not in his head. That'd be Sharpie. That's like barrack room stuff. But no, yeah.
clearly, that big explosion, the only thing that remains of the Mesa is a charred, dusted plaque that reads whatever, right?
Right. Okay, let's stop our story there. Maybe we'll have a little bit of. I have a question for you guys for the table. See if we can come to a consensus, or maybe we'll just vote. So Noah, tell everybody a little bit of like what your agenda was, and that'll kind of lead into what I want to ask.
Well, my agenda was originally to convince someone that this was like, trying to control the aliens was a foolish idea. My second agenda was to prevent the missile battery from being deactivated and make sure that no one leaves with alien technology. And my third one was destroy any samples and make sure no one leaves with it, which I think I've managed to hit all of them.
Oh, absolutely. And, the kind of, basically Noah is coming from a place of saying, you can't control the xenomorphs. Whatever you do, they're going to get free. They're going to cause even more trouble. We have to find a way that doesn't include xenomorphs if we want to save humanity. So the question for the table is humanity able to save itself without the headdress, without the ability to control the xenomorphs? Are they able, there's going to be starvation no matter what, but are they able to save themselves, or is this going to be the end of humanity in space?
I think technologically humanity will come up with something else or flee to another place. I don't think these are. They're not a strategic threat. Actually, I don't think aliens are. They're a tactical threat to humanity, but I don't think they pose a strategic threat. We just outthink them. They're cunning beasts. That's my take on them.
I would like to suggest that humanity as we know it is done for, and we cut to a colony ship, the crew of which are all versions of Noah, and there are 100 human embryos, 10,000 human embryos stored on this ship, and they are heading a long way away.
Right.
To start again.
No.
Has he?
What's that?
He's not changed his name to Father.
Right.
Raised by wolves.
I have to say, I was thinking Raised by Wolves.
Yeah. Will, what do you think?
I really like that idea. Not just because it puts lots of my character out into eternity, but yeah, I'm not sure if it means the end of humanity as it stands in the alien world. I think it puts it onto that kind of standing of like, when Earth is overrun and loads of colonies are overrun, and it's like it's the open thing now, right? And there are huge quarantines of space across. But I would say that could fit Alan's thinking that no one does colony efforts anymore. No one dares break the interdictions for fear of unleashing the plague back upon human space. And so this is the first outreach program, the first of the Building Better Worlds, right?
Right.
Oh, so God, it's not a Weyland-Yutani ship.
It has to be a Weyland-Yutani ship, doesn't it? It has to be a Weyland-Yutani ship.
So I think, I like that. So maybe there's a post-credit scene. We see Peter Weyland V. He's in a skyscraper looking out a vista over a city on Earth. Maybe it's London. Maybe we see the London, tourist attractions. Big Ben or whatever, and everything's burning and explosions and fire, and he's looking out, and there's pounding on these doors. You can see the camera. We can hear this pounding against the doors behind him. And he reaches down and he grabs a pistol and shoots himself in the head. And that fades out. And then we see, maybe Sigourney Weaver does a voiceover. And, she's like, it took humanity, to be down to its down to its knees before it finally learned not to work with the xenomorphs. Almost everything was destroyed except for this ship. And then we see what what Alan described, this ship called Hope or something, Providence, and it's manned by NOAA androids, and it has cryo beds full of human embryos. And then we see it goes to the outside of the ship though, and it says Weyland-Yutani written on the side of the ship, and that's the end. Okay, let's say goodbye to all the future people that may watch this, and then we'll go offline. We'll chit-chat a little bit if you guys feel like it. So goodbye, thanks for watching, and this is the end of Alien Ruin.